What's up, y'all? It's Zone from Brutal Business. You're now checking out Skippy Ickham from Uncovering the Underground. Check this shit out now. No one ever treated me like you did. No one ever treated me like you did. Now there's maggots in the walls, feasting on his lips. Like it's my fault, cause I had to see your kiss. Cause I'm the bad guy, yeah, I'm the bad guy. You're about to get it now. Shut your mouth and watch us work. Got a couple demons with me, see just what you deserve. Coming at you 3-4, promises don't get worse. Let me finish where you started as I bury you. Should know for the rip that your work was toxic. Couple times for the start, I blocked it. My bad, my heart was loving you, bitch. You knew the process. You acted wifey, we even picked out a wedding ring. Yeah, I'm moving in. Your motors moved on to different things. Went from investing to claiming you don't have the time to. Always choosing to be so petty. Will be your ride free. Leaving early, one day I might have to take a ride for. See you walking and talking, and then he gets a kiss. Next thing I knew, I was staring at my bathroom mirror. Bloodshot, shirt ripped, gashes on my cheeks, something like Mordic. A voice from the back of my head say, wanna let the live in, what is best day, Parasites, no one ever treated me like you did. Now there's maggots in the walls, feasting on his lips. Like it's my fault, cause I had to see your kiss. Cause I'm the bad guy, yeah, I'm the bad guy. You're about to get it now. Shut your mouth and watch us work. Got a couple demons with me, see just what you deserve. Let me finish where you started as I bury you.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda, woulda been cool. Last week we was hanging out. Now you running your mouth. I ain't no better. Depression when the shit turns out to be. How the fuck would you know if you love me when you don't love yourself? Dusting on the shell, rusting away. I could provide, I could confide. I don't open up to too many people. I don't oblige. Parasitic ways got me running from your haze. Manipulation, stimulated by the stimulation. Recreated from a broken nation. Procreation didn't mean shit. Ending up in that snake pit. Ain't no way to erase it. They could try to blacklist me. I'm blackballed with the voodoo black magic when the darkness falls. I got two in the chamber, through with the anger. But the white lies got a vamp, wanting to kill them all. Threatening to take everything and now you're really gone. Can you feel this blonde palm with the blood I'm on? I run the long game. You parasite leech motherfuckers, stay filled with shame.
Zone, man, this shit's crazy.
Parasites, no one ever treated me like you did. Now there's maggots in the walls, feasting on his lips. Like it's my fault, cause I had to see your kiss. Cause I'm the bad guy, yeah, I'm the bad guy. You're about to get it now. Shut your mouth and watch us work. Got a couple demons with me, see just what you deserve. Coming at you 3-4, promises don't get worse. Let me finish where you started as I bury you.
I can't believe I caught you red. Hand it, damn it, it's all for hits. I really wanna get the gunner for you all, but let you suck my dick and tell me that you did it all for bread. And now I'm here, then I ain't leaving till you all is dead. Fuck, I feel like I'ma really go murder. Take a head off in the middle where they catch you with your bitch, and I'ma get the bun and serve you like a hamburger. Serve. Why you got your hand up, bitch? I ain't your fucking butt. Matter of fact, the serve, give me all your fucking money. I'ma take it off into the rumble, you gon' meet your doom. You can save it with the bullshit, I ain't leaving till you bloody. Feel me? Why you had to ride this pipe though? I told you from the beginning I'm fucking psycho. And now I'm in the middle with the mask and rifle, throwing both up in the van, handcuffed with blindfolds. Damn, I'm about to fuck up some shit. When I caught you just sucking this dick, I want you dog cause I took a walk and I would've bought this, then I wouldn't be back up in this bitch. I admit that this shit got me pissed. I'm worked up with the heart on this bitch. Don't do it on this bitch. On the real, when the police come, they gon' find you on murder this shit. I'ma roll like a beast. Drunk driving with your head up in the front seat. And I ain't with it when you dealing with a weasel. I put a gun and they be running when I drop heat. I kill a whole house and I get sideways. It ain't no love, ain't no fun if you don't die. I put the pistol in your motherfucking mouth. You was in the room sucking dick, bitch. Don't cry, don't cry.
Parasites, no one ever treated me like you did. Now there's maggots in the walls, feasting on his lips. Like it's my fault, cause I had to see your kiss. Cause I'm the bad guy, yeah, I'm the bad guy. You're about to get it now. Shut your mouth and watch us work. Got a couple demons with me, see just what you deserve. Coming at you 3-4, promises don't get worse. Let me finish where you
walls, I see a couple of demons. Tells me Satan wants my fucking allegiance. Had to check if my heart was still beating. Blood on the floor, mixing puddles of semen. Fingerprints, so I grabbed the skull, ripping its head in two from the mandible. My reactions are more of an animal's, a fanatic for the savage and the graphical. Stand up and the room dissolves. Street glow in the color of luminol. Hooded fingers telling me I need to move along. A trail leads me to a hospital room at dawn. See myself as an infant child. Lucifer walks in with a wicked smile. Hands me a blade, says it's time to reconcile. Now remove his fucking heart, put it in this file.
Into the madness, my dreams are coming alive. What is real or fake? It's really hard to decide. Into the madness, my mind is ready to die. It's only bad nightmares to you, but this is my real life.
Thought I was just thought for attention. Then I saw the devil's horns in my reflection. Animals get anxiety attacks when I'm present. Can't talk to anyone, they won't get it. Feel the walls whisper his thoughts to me. So we talk back and forth, arguing, trying to convince me that it's all a dream. In the slit my neighbor's throats as they fall asleep. Got to admit, murder can be thrilling. Believe I collect souls to each one that I'm killing. Feel like I'm Satan with a pitchfork and ceiling. Set forth to cleanse a world of souls from your children. Do you hear that? Seize back. That's why I think like that. Only see in black. Demons laugh. Devil's giving me a task. Says you're deaf. I release you to your path.
Into the madness, my dreams are coming alive. What is real or fake? It's really hard to decide. Into the madness, my mind is ready to die. It's only bad nightmares to you, but this is my real life. Into the madness, 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 into the madness. Let's into the madness.
This is Morbid Psychosis, and you're listening to Uncovering the Underground with your boy Skippy Ickham. Brutal Business Ent, baby.
Get 'em low.
Watch me sing with a deep sing to turn heathen, hearing screaming. I went from bleeding to dreaming. The hatred feelings of my past, kiss my ass. If you ever think I'm back to being that, I'ma smash any memory I have of you cocky little bitches. Watch the devil when he laughs. Ha 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 ha. Sipping Henny from a glass. Is there any other way to bring a fucking deal to grasp? I don't lack the fucking talent. Feel the devil on your back. Yeah. Is there really any other way to kill your conscience? I've been thinking deeper than existence, deeper than the logic, deeper like a prophet, deeper than Muhammad. I have fallen into knowledge and mistaken road across the found a gallows promise. Watch me sell my soul disembodied. Watch me lose myself all over. Watch me separate from the godly. Watch me burn in hell. Watch me sell my soul disembodied. Watch me lose myself all over. Watch me separate from the godly. Watch me burn in hell. Ripping it up, chopping them down, spitting the truth. I'ma spit it right now. I invest in my sound. I walk with a smile. Be watching me grow. My flow isn't mine. I'm a seasonal character, built for my child, built for my girl. But it's so high up in piles, but it's so high in the heavenly climbs. We don't fuck with you clowns. You better back the fuck up, before you get smacked the fuck up. I'm a big boss brawler, bruh, a massive one up. I built an army to guard me, if anybody harm me. I ain't came to party, I came to bear a warning. So with the internet, politics, ignorant media, owned by the parliament. If you're just stir shit, leave it alone. You're owned by Illuminati and making them clones. The fact that it's hardly whatever you know. Y'all making it grow into a comical rendezvous. But when the story unfolds, see bullets and stones. Is there really any other way to kill your conscience? You've been thinking deeper than existence, logic, deeper like a prophet, deeper than Muhammad. You have fallen into knowledge and mistaken. Lord, you crossed $1,000 promise. Watch me sell my soul disembodied. Watch me lose myself all over. Watch me separate from the godly. Watch me burn in. Watch me sell my soul disembodied. Watch me lose myself all over. Watch me separate from the godly. Watch me burn in. Watch me sell my soul disembodied. Watch me lose myself all over. Watch me separate from the godly. Watch me burn in. Watch me sell my soul disembodied. Watch me lose myself all over. Watch me separate from the godly. Watch me burn in hell.
in the mud, singing sludge at the mall, fortunate to pass, dreaming of living in the light while I'm looking up through the cracks. You don't know what a freak, baby, damn, me be looking shit, baby. Soon as she see my face, you know that bitch started to shake crazy. People started gathering, dripping on my appearance, started grabbing on me, started slitting, throat started with a difference. Now I'm covered in blood, the fuss was alerted. Fuck it, I guess it's back to the mud and living under the surface. And shit ain't even worth it down. There I be living perfect, nobody yelling in my face and calling me ugly and worthless. I am the king of this underground. You cannot fuck with trouble in this ugly sound. When I rock, I will grumble like I'm dumbing it down. When I get to the top, I'm your bubble like you're loving them now. I see the way they look at me every time. Like I ain't nothing, like I ain't worth a dime. But I got something that they ain't never seen. When I bring that to the masses, they gon' see what I mean. Hold up, check this shit out. I be whipping through the shadows at night in a bucket, causing ruckus, doing the unlucky fuckers in my way. When the night is mine, you're Doris when the moon is shining. You die in a low light, and now you never gonna see another day. The land I come from is done with pine trees. They will never find me, though we smoke a light. Journey into the mist, you will die like a bitch. Right to the shit, bro, right with it. Have you seen the motherfuckers, the money's so ripping so smooth. When I'm in my groove, watch I do the murder your crew. I'm here, like Quasimodo. Mine is the hunchback, raised in a dark cage, and only allowed to jump scratch. I mean, I'm hungry for whether it be the money you're reading, the random junkie you bitches that I found on Tony. I'm the funky motherfucker that's spreading across the country. If you try anything funny, I'm leaving this bitch bloody tight. I see the way they look at me every time. Like I ain't nothing, like I ain't worth a dime. But I got something that they ain't never seen. When I bring that to the masses, they gon' see what I mean. Well, I'm a freak, baby.
From my veins, revenant, suicide drives my pain. Hate everything about the face. Listen up, kids, cause innocence grace. Blood legs from my veins. Rev it up, suicide drives my pain. Hate everything about the face. Listen up, kids, cause innocence grace. Slip of eye, I love to see your pain in your face. In the inside, slide down a drain. To go queen and fight peasants, alliance and mine. Burn my soul, I will never die. Blood lost, homicide in our eyes. In front to ignite my rage, scream louder when I feel okay. Say what I toss, say this in my name. When I die, when I flame, do not cry for no shame. My life in the pain, soak in the rain. So I do not feel the fame. Tough friends, pushing me in the game. I can see my carcass hiding every day. Beat them up, and it fills me up with rage. We are beast up in the cage, the world is dying, welcome to a new race. Resurrection, intersection, I'm hell in heaven's gates. When ashes pour, rain, interaction with the beast. Wisdom all or the beast. Welcome to the triple 666. Friday crucifix, last supper, welcome to your final feast. As the Bible pages spread, angels preach, black arrange, check, put the humans burn the ashes. Simply mean that not collapse the fastest. They cheer to cross slow molasses. How you see our space rocks and find our crashes. This the mark of the beast, no remorse, only the chosen one will be spared at least. Take a seat, this is start to the end. Blood leaks from my veins. Revenant, suicide drives my pain. Hate everything about the face. Listen up, kids, cause innocence grace. Blood leaks from my veins. Rev it up, suicide drives my pain. Hate everything about the face. Listen up, kids, cause innocence grace.
Hey, what up, Lokesters? This is Loke Saint. You're listening to Uncovering the Underground with my man Skippy Ickham on Spreaker Podcast Radio, bringing you nothing but the best in underground music.
Ernie, don't you know how I'll shoot you? Hands up! Now! Go to that door! You're hitting children, sir!
I teach my kids beware of the police.
On the ground now!
They are not your friend.
Criminalizers!
They will not help you in time of need.
Okay, right in the United States. I know my rights. I don't give a shit. Stop resisting. Stop resisting.
This is America!
They wanna criminalize us. Times that we live by the news, take truth to the warpiness. To the store, turn back, strict time, put the cork in us. Strict nine to the spine while we trapped in the matrix, just like Morpheus. Cops pop more caps to the back, then baby griddle caps in the wild clan, parenthood abortionists. And all they ever wanna do is orphan us. Just to navigate the laws, every single American citizen gotta turn into a contortionist. Open the jaws and cram laws down my throat like I want a gun toe, but they forcing us. We giving the price to bear arms, but I'm sticking to fight to scare harm. Motherfuckers if they horse with us, making the course to dust. I represent we the people, everybody be endorsing us. And we never ever gonna gun forfeit us. They put the fork in us, now we done. If we really wanna get it, we can run. This motherfucker become something better than whatever they done. I'm a crooked cop, get up a runner, cause I'm sick of seeing my brother's blood run. We need reform, but ain't nobody wanna listen, so I feed the storm and arm up like we're ready for war. Get hardcore and shit. Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang. Like a military, everybody better arm up. Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang. Like a military, they trying to criminalize us. Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang. Like a military, everybody better arm up. Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang. Like a military, everybody better arm up. They getting ready. Somebody, anybody tell me why the government running the city telling us lies. Realize every day you behind enemy lines. When they taking our freedom, don't give a fuck about our lives. Fake news, social media controlling the minds. Fuck the popular opinion, man, I see for the lies. But they portraying to be holy, they deceive with the skies. Most leading the sheep is under us, they enemy kind. We need to open up our eyes to the sign, stop being blind. Land of the free, one like a nation confined. Half of the population doing top and nine, violent crimes. It's a sign of the times, how many kind of bonds gonna happen before we find a reason for the rhyme. How many times they commit treason before they try for the crime? How many times they take our freedom just for speaking our minds? For the way that we grind with little nickels and dimes. While we trying to keep my head up, but they're shaking it ridiculous. I'm fed up homies doing time for crime that we're victimless. Trying to enlighten my people, no one is listening. They only want to hear about drugs and change lists. Like I'm talking to myself, like the wind is what I'm pissing in. I'm never gonna be a victim of a battle with a mission. I was born a visionary, but most of the world I'm visionless and vision is when we coming together, now we limitless. Made in the brave, now made in the cage. They can say all the people that took our freedom away. Trying to silence the truth and everything that we say. But I say fuck that, time to load the AK. Time to take this shit back, time to change the way. Cause if we don't change soon, it's gonna be our last day. Gotta look inside ourselves, gotta find a better way. Keep your head up, be strong, and to fight another day. Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang. Like a military, everybody better arm up. Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang. Like a military, they trying to criminalize us. Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang. Like a military, everybody better arm up. Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang. Like a military, everybody better arm up.
Just splitting into different sides. The difference between us was nothing really listening wise up. Geographical positions, man, indigenous types of natives all around the world. So why you getting us tied up in the bickering life between a billion sizes, shapes and colors? My brothers and my sisters are riders, and the vision is priceless. Which turned into religion was blinded. A war full of infinite fighting. When a man-made shit you're reciting, if it ain't natural campaigns getting you fighting political matters. Though damn shame, killing you guys so your riches get catapult. Enslaved niggas ain't trying to give us collateral. Niggas was mad at those freaking citizens fighting in every single condition that they said is inciting. Assassinated our leaders trying to get us some rights and misled us with information that they give us in writing. I got from them, beat the freaking Christian inside them. And it's time to present, so we put them in an asylum. If we're giving them rights, then put the same laws that we had for the slaves, y'all. Now them niggas are tied in, and the rage inside of them is freaking igniting. Gangs are forming, drugs gotta get it inside them. So they rage on each other now, and really we like it. Now we locking on them niggas up more quicker than lightning. They can let them niggas free, they got a prison inside them. Pineal gland with a stigmatism to blind it. Now they lose when it's all, I wonder what they can find it. Since the beginning, that position getting this binded. The media feminizing my niggas for prices. And it's all about riches, homie, it's bigger than ISIS. It's bigger than Bloods, Crips, and sickness we fighting. Cause when we fight back, then they criminalize us.
Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang. Like a military, everybody better arm up. Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang. Like a military, they trying to criminalize us. Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang. Like a military, everybody better arm up. Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang. Like a military, everybody better arm up. They getting ready.
I've been to Iraq 14 times for my people. You come over here and order. They don't have guns. They don't have guns. They don't. Why are you hurting these people? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
last. Too many racing, but not enough gas. Marketing off a bill of fuels. It's not anymore when there are no rules. Yeah, and I'm just like any other guy. I try to stick a finger in the pie. Sometimes love it ain't enough. The crust is too thick, my gun is getting tired. And we just keep on doing what we do. No time for me, I got no time for you. You better get with it, or you will never get this. So, la 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 la. All I really gotta say to you, you get treated the way you do. So when I'm old and lonely, you'll be old and better. I'll see you later, 'cause I am a content creator, and you're the frustrator, my constant source of inspiration, creation. I hope you're having fun. I hope you like what we have done. We need you to try it. We're begging you to buy it. All it takes is a place and time, some decent music and a catchy rhyme, and people telling people that nobody is equal. Your flashy clothes and your attitude, demanding looks for your latitude. Believe you're on the level. This life is yours to revel. I'll see you later, 'cause I am a content creator, and you're the frustrator, my constant source of inspiration, creation. Yeah, I hope you're having fun. I hope you like what we have done. We need you to try it. We're begging you to buy it. All it takes is a place and time, some decent music and a catchy rhyme, and people telling people that no one is equal. All I really gotta say to you, you get treated the way you do. So when I'm old and lonely, you'll be old and you'll be old and you'll be old and you'll be old and
Got a Charlie no Sheen. Now we out on the scene, popping the shit, you be taking this pills. I got the shawty, I gave her a thrill. This a big 80, we dropping that bomb with a hoe in the hoe. I feel like Santa Claus. Me and country never pause. Alex Cooper bucket head, I'm a boss. Hey, disco party, drop the ball like it's New Year's Eve and they in awe. Give me a kiss, scaring the shit out of them. They take a piss, locked and loaded. I got the potion, damn. Don't you run off with that drip, bitch. Once I get up, they gon' swallow my dick. I got that Nike symbol for my kicks. Hey, flick of the wrist, breaking that shit down, the white I'll get split. Breaking them guts up into the middle. No, I ain't first place, still ain't middle. I'm getting bigger, y'all just getting little. Little store, you a critter. Hey, beats and lean, more like drinking straight out of that bottle. I'm in that Hyundai, a fucking Elantra. Ain't no PR and I'm driving up on ya. Cooling my lyrics down like it is summer. I got a lemonade stand for your daughter. Come get this lemonade, sir. He bought it. Throwing that shit in the air when I lobbed it. Tripping, I'm leaking straight out of the faucet. Hey, straight out of the faucet. Ooh, and I'm seeing red for a target. Got a cherry, man, just pray it don't pop it.
I be fucking hoe across the border. Fucking bomb, pussy kitty mortar. I'm collecting money like a hoarder. Sharp tongue, cut the beat torture. Mind missing, mission never needed. Ass kiss from different niggas leaving. Blood drip on the path of bleeding. Bills crip, blue strip for beating. I'm defeated, price stay sedated. I ain't even trying, other niggas hated. See, I went and got another niggas waiting. You been making money, making then they play it. When the killer pussy eat it or I flay it. Can't get too specific, living if I say it. flexing, middle fingers never fake it. Swear the way you live is hella basic. Play a role, you working in amazement. So underground got 7 in my basement. I hate all you niggas like I'm racist. Say the truth, but blunt, you gotta face it. Take it straight, I know it's hard for all you fools who barely knew you niggas cannot chase it. Send a spit a clip, I spray and flip the shit up on some other shit, I'm shitting greatness. Liquid gold upon my mouth and lips around is drooling out, you wishing you could taste it. Got it dripping, vomit off a licking water in the kitchen like I'm trying to lake it. Pay attention, me and Jay are winning, keep the record spinning, bangers in rotation, metal.
Woke up, started with a bong rip. At the table, need a second shift. I'm a long dick, talk shit, but I make a point to keep it honest. Post it up in my crib daily with a goth bitch. You not shit, I literally got lit. Speed 'em in reverse and you could dream of right upon this. Sleeping broad, bitch, fridge ain't got shit. I'm eating up the beat and I completely fucking lost it. Killing beats every day like it's medication. People steady waiting for me up in every nation. Do what I want and don't take shit from no one. And do call me a dick, I said his daughter sure can blow one. I'm an asshole and I know that I'm your favorite rapper. Text a girl and said what's up and homie, she got naked after found out everything you little pussy didn't do shit. Do the world a favor and go tie yourself a noose, bitch. Gotta slow down man, I'm getting too nasty. Hitting the loud and that shit gets me laughing. This shit is like magic, I'm lit, it's fantastic. It's been hard from the womb, bro, I didn't need practice. I'm busy with rapping, don't hit me with that shit. Crying, complaining like this is so tragic. I'm mesopelagic like up and above. We all share this passion, it's brotherly love. But now I'm back to talking shit, I always stay on top of this. I always do a lot of it, and now when I gotta piss because I'm always tearing it up. Swear this fun be blowing up in Canada, bro. Making worldwide moves, still ain't shit changed. I'm the greatest rapper, everybody loves to hate. You girl's my big fan, she said I love you, Jay. Seconds later on her knees and I fucked her brain.
We in the zone, no telling where it's got us going. No going home, things change, gotta seize the moment and own it, yeah.
Tell me, are you hype? Just say so. Man, I'm living life, I don't lay low. Brought some weapons and I guess I bring a payload. Shocking out of anybody in my way, whoa. Tell the devil I'll be back to get my halo. Till then, the motherfucker better stay home. All the power that I hold is finna blow the roof off. Any place I bring a mic, I might take souls. Back up, this shit is real as it gets though. Flow cold, dead nice like a headstone. Rappers popping up, I make them vanish like presto. Stop, drop and roll, I make a fire just to get smoke. Life ain't living it in luxury, nah. But I'm someone they all wanna be, yeah. Guess it's saying that I must just be the next best thing to ever come and touch the scene, whoa. Man, I make a wave like Poseidon. Soon enough, you gonna see me with the trident. King in my blood until the day I stop rhyming. Which will be never, cause my intelligence climbing. Look, y'all been irrelevant, better settle with bars. 16's off, flip like I'm a veteran dog. I've been better than many, stepping in the middle to spar. I feel a little me ain't literally a star.
We in the zone, no telling where it's got us going. No going home, things change, gotta seize the moment and own it, yeah.
Shit go hard, no doubt about that. Power for the moving and we bring it right back. Like I'm just going pedal to the metal in the fast life. Hoping that you get up on the way before a crash, right? Telling me that I'ma get it whenever the right time comes. But they will never be ready for that when I hype my buzz. I've been living alone and I'm feeling like I'm in the zone right now. So close to blowing up like I'm the bomb right now, whoa. Checking for the team get big. We all no doubt been on that heat wave shit. Everything we do is been a banger for your ears. Perfect melodies, we hungry so we eat that shit. Making waves at a rapid pace, I can pass the days. But talking crafty words in a crazy pattern for accolades. We have the greats and that'll be that. I'm just here to have the stage. A rap to y'all what I've written and thought over the passing days. But it's playing it in vain to the whole game knowing that my pain and my game be the same thing showing. With my name be the thing that they all speak, hoping that I say every page, leave no line left open. I'm a G-O-D, you just a D-O-G. I keep my shit low key until the beat O.D. I'm in the Z-O and E until I throw in the key. Just keep on throwing the heat, they know me, cause we
in the zone, no telling where it's got us going. No going home, things change, gotta seize the moment and own it, yeah. We in the zone, no telling where it's got us going. No going home, things change, gotta seize the moment and own it, yeah.
And the guy told him to take the money. He said, I don't want it. He says, all I'm going to do is kill you people. I have to kill you. The boy asked him, said, you really mean that? And he said, yes, I mean it. He says, well, he said, you're going to kill me first because I can't stand to see the girl be stabbed. He said, well, I'll do that. So he started stabbing the kid in the back. He told me 10, 12 times, but he had so much blood in him I couldn't tell. I knew he was stabbed several times. And then he stabbed the girl. This guy is a pathological, psycho killer. There's no doubt about it.
Here I sit, loaded clip, about to ride. Brought the SSI place with a ski mask when I arrive. My shrink told me I'm crazy, well maybe I'm actually normal. I'll turn you to a ghost for saying that paranormal. Rocking a tuxedo with a bloody tie. Time to die, covered up in particles from all the homicide. Hi, it's nice to meet you, I'm Chinzo and I'm not crazy. Just give me all of your money and you will live maybe. To hell with it, I'm nuts, a motherfucking basket case. I'll mug you for your wallet and hold you upside down for your change. I'm the type of motherfucker to let loose. Killing us, filling us, shoving machetes in your caboose. I kill for the thrill and I'm painting this sucks. Murdering motherfuckers for pills and drugs. Got a big wad of cash that I took from your stash. Getting high on my own supply that I stole from your ass. Better have my motherfucking money every first of the month. I'm fucked up on crack and I'm a motherfucking killer. Uzi in your face, make your face news. Ooh, what you looking at? Staring at the face of doom. Pay up, pay up, pay up, ya bitch. Get your throat slit, every penny counts. Brick, motherfucker what? Motherfucker what? Motherfucker what? Psychopathic hustler. Better have my motherfucking money every first of the month. I'm fucked up on crack and I'm a motherfucking killer. Uzi in your face, make your face news. Ooh, what you looking at? Staring at the face of doom. Pay up, pay up, pay up, ya bitch. Get your throat slit, every penny counts. Brick, motherfucker what? Motherfucker what? Motherfucker what? Psychopathic hustler.
Yeah, yo, dressed in all black in the dark, camouflaged by the night. All the lights in the house are off now and I'm grabbing onto my knife. The back door is unlocked, my mask is on, I'm inside. My freezer needs to be stocked, I'm stabbing all who's inside. So I move in, scan all the rooms, she's all alone like I assume. She's dying soon, but not too quick, I'ma take my time, I'm in a violent mood. Raid the kitchen, fuck buying food, don't need the meat, she'll supply it soon. I'm on a diet and skinny bitches, I'm eating healthier, I'm trying to. She never stood a chance, she never stood up. After I severed vertebrae, brain was working, her death was certain. Obsessed with murdering every person, don't ever trust me, I bet I'm worse than the best immersion. Expert working in the field of bringing death to persons, bet I murder them.
Watch me put on a clinic, I did it for all who dig it. Nothing but raw, explicit, a visually scarring image. What makes you want to live in that body? You're non-existent. Let me put this knife in your skin and take you to a level we all will visit. Looks like I found out where you live, and now I'm sleeping in your crib. You know that this might be a end. Looks like you got nowhere to run, and I'm about to have some fun. Staring at the barrel of my gun.
Crept in through the back door with a massive sword of sorts. Seen her at the back of the corridor, wishing she had some boarded doors, but of course it was too late, and I already chose her fate. Closed that gate, seen that fear all up on her face, until her brain sprayed from a flawless blade. Sick-minded, demented, did I mention bipolar, prone to get vengeance? Feeling happy deep down when I hear the chainsaw start with a rev like brain, and I really wanna end it, but I've been caught up putting little kids in detention. It's so easy to me, like a sixth sense in the river, bodies get tossed like a pigskin, and she was deep asleep when I went into a room and got beneath the sheets. I just spooned her, I just laid next to her in the bed, shaking while I beat my meat. I'm just lonely, I just want somebody to hold me while I'm rubbing it and need to ski. It's okay, babe, I don't really wanna hurt you, I wanna coerce you to be with me. She wasn't into it, I guess, cause she tried to run up out of the room, but I'm quicker than a bitch. She got thrown back quick like a bitch in the net, took the knife and I stick it to her chest. Say I really wanna take it here, babe, but it seems like we can never make this right. So I plucked it in and it pulled it out, the blood spray while I drained her life.
Looks like I found out where you live,
swords down. I bet you wish that we calm down. 50 shades of pain, straight about to break. Girl, you know you've been holding out.
Yo, maybe it's the blood that triggered in the face, but the fetish much better when I get a little taste. I peeled off in the raw, in the off fashion. Never try screaming, that shit ain't lasting. It's in my brain, it's a slaughterhouse. You never even know till the organs out. As I fiddle with the liver, I'ma watch you shiver like my lips to the sight of you all strung out. Sick cocaine, if I can take my thoughts from the pencil. Better keep it broad, unlock what I'm into. It's far from the mental. Never long got to these high strung sluts. Ain't no love with these hoes, don't you know that's never the body. I put an old school Kodak. Guess I get the highlight deep in the snuff film. Bust on my neck, the side of their blood spill. Wish you gave me that chance, but now I'm too hostile, too far gone. Bending your corpse to the spine, go to sign, yo. Swear I don't even know where my mind goes. When half the time, what is in my mind is best seen when your eyes close.
Some murder shit. Murder bitches get away with it. Leave a motherfucking bullet wounded, then I play with it. I'm spraying shit. Licking motherfuckers down, ho. And lick a motherfuckers blood up on the ground, bro. This be the sound, ho. I'm from the town, ho. Pittsburgh. Where all the bitches' bodies found, ho. They talk about my spree on TV. They told my mom they wanna see me. See these eyes realize the pain of life's a strain. The lives and crazy dog, that's why I self-inflict with pain. That's why I fuck with Kane. I'm just like fucking man. I pull my motherfucking pistol out in public, man. It's just enough to change. I'm quick to bust my thing. I'm down to load a fucking slug and throw it in your brain. You can't imagine what I've been through. I'll drop the heat and grab my cancel. Looks like I found out where you live. And now I'm sleeping in your crib. You know if this might be a hit. Looks like you got nowhere to run. And I'm about to have some fun. Staring at you burying my gun.
Ghost of the minute. Brutal business entertainment. We coming after everybody. Body's about to fall, y'all. Get it? Is this war? Is it more? Break down the door. Bring out your corpse. Not keeping score. Got it locked. Figure 4. Hit record. Bring the torches with the horde. Kill them all. This ain't a war. It's a massacre. This ain't a war. It's a massacre. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. Fuck the world, we'll take on every single challenger. What even is this? Ain't bullshit for 100 songs. I'm all about some shit you never done. Go suck a dong. Fucking cons not ready when I bring the wrath like a fucking con. Hellfire with fucking spawn. Hold mics with bloody bombs. Come along, I'll show you death cause you overstep. I'm on with tap, bury you alive, bitch, don't hold your breath. Take that fake chain, asphyxiating till I broke your neck. Raising more hell than Motorhead, hunt y'all like Boba Fett. Fuck these underground rappers too, just little nerds. Clowns on SoundCloud, shout out down, I'm nothing to hurt. Make the rap game my prison, my rhythm sinister. I'm Jack the Ripper with literature, kill them when I get the urge. Been disturbed, I don't give a single fuck about your opinion. Most of these fucking rappers' vocabulary's infant. They catalogs infringement, mine's is just malignant. You don't wanna go to war with me or my contention. Is this war? Is it more? Break down the door, bring out your corpse. Not keeping score, got it locked, figure 4. Hit record, bring the torches with the horde, kill them all. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. Fuck the world, we'll take on every single challenger. This world has been corroded and filled with rodents. Motherfuckers think you owe them and looking for a bonus. Without me, you promoters would have crashed like a Bowen. Saints poet, lead them then like Moses. Bring in bad omens. I'm done with acting civil, bite the hand, get crippled. Opportunists all around, even fucking fans are fickle. Only there with you on top, treat us as sacrificial. Pass the pistol, now I'm the devil dancing in the middle. Start with ignoramus and send them down where Hades lives. Not a fucking thought in their brain, they all just plagiarists. I'm dangerous, Amos, miscellaneous, don't play favorites. Don't give a fuck with you, a pagan, atheist, or Satanist. Better watch what you're doing inside my backyard. Don't let us catch you moving heroin powder to black tar. Turn you to track stars, repercussions faster than NASCAR. Brutal business logo on your corpse, your villain still at large. Is this war? Is it more? Break down the door, bring out your corpse. Not keeping score, got it locked, figure 4. Hit record, bring the torches with the horde, kill them all. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. Fuck the world, we'll take on every single challenger. Be warned, we don't play warrior on the keyboard. We'll strap your whole fucking family to some C4. Your hunchback, live your mama's basement. Your ego motherfucker, put you on a detour right to the seafloor. Always brutal, ain't no time for the cry babies. Most millennials like ladies while I'm spitting rabies. They hear some shit they don't like and run to find safety. I know that God hates me, I'm Satan's Tom Brady. Get on your Twitter and blog, go eat your top pies. One violence, don't need a call, so fuck a dialogue. One body's outlined in chalk all on the sidewalk. Can't get in a church or a mosque, I wonder why not. If I offended you, I humbly don't give a fuck. Middle finger permanently, your bitch don't interrupt. Feel like Thanos, I'd much rather turn them to dust. Could go on forever like Scissor Fist, cause this is us. Is this war? Is it more? Break down the door, bring out your corpse. Not keeping score, got it locked, figure 4. Hit record, bring the torches with the horde, kill them all. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. Fuck the world, we'll take on every single challenger.
Dope tone, high quality beats.
I will give you everything, I'll even sell my soul, just to make you happy and to fill this empty hole. But you gave me nothing and I felt my hatred grow, as I sat and watched as our love turned into stone. So I've come to terms that this relationship must end. The ultimate betrayal of a man and his best friend. I know you may feel justified, but I'll make you repent and make you relive every second of our last descent.
This is it, the point of no return. I'ma make these bitches squirm and my soul is gonna burn. My revenge, I've been plotting every minute since she went and fucking did it. Now they both can fucking witness their demise. I despise all that's hidden in their eyes. Life of lies, I reprise all the time that's passed me by. Sabotage and utilize all the demons in your life to publicize the reason why that I've eroticized the time of your death. Bitch, you had to fucking do it, let me waste my time to boot it. Leave me cold and so confused to think that I was gonna marry you. After all the things you put me through, I'll cuddle the memories into you. How could you? How could you? But now it doesn't matter, bitch, I'm the echoes of your past. And I'm meeting with your present just to make your future burn to ash. Please don't struggle, bitch, I just wanna make you suffer for a couple more hours while you stare at your dead lover. Yeah.
Sit your ass down, have a chat with Iron Maiden, and you better fucking listen to the words that I am saying as I draw the knife in the shape of an A, so that every time you look at it, you think of my face, bitch. This ain't something I will let you forget, and the pain you're feeling isn't shit to the pain in my chest. You swore you were different, but you'll suffer like the rest, and your attempts to hide the truth are mediocre at best. Now as for you, motherfucker, I've got something special. You're claiming brother fam, but you're just an empty vessel. Where evil lives and breeds, you're a walking, talking cesspool, and I'ma pop your eyes out like a festering pustule. Your problem is you're always thinking with the smallest muscle, so I'm gonna solve it with an iron pineapple. And you're begging and you're pleading as a sound that's almost sexual, and the feeling of revenge is unexpectedly exceptional.
Zachary 1, I had nothing but love. It was 4 long years of a brotherly trust, but the snakes will emerge and they act upon their lust, leaving wounds that never heal upon the souls of those they trust. With a long thin grin, you've accomplished so much, tore apart a friendship and the one true love that a man could ever have. So now I'll peel back your fingernails and cut trails right up out of Zach's back fast. So this is how it works. I'ma start with this incision right below the cheekbone and reveal the vessels. It is slowly one by one. I'll eliminate the bonds and let the blood run down your face for every wrong you cause. Moving right on down to the ram set, to the hands, yes, a 22 shell blows a nail into the chair that you're strapped to when your tattoos are burning off with the superheated iron. Bro, I hope the fuck was worth the loss.
Now the time has come, and I promise that you'd pay. You have no idea how long I have waited for this day. I have a lust for blood, and baby, you've got what I need. I will take your penance with us. Slice, slice, constant repeat. 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 Slice, slice, constant repeat.
What up, it's your boy Jay Caulfield, and you're listening to Uncovering the Underground Radio with my homeboy Skippy Ickham on Spreaker Podcast Radio, bringing you the best underground music. Holy shit, it's been years since I touched a mic. Still a piece of motherfucking shit. Yo, I'm an asshole. I'm a fuck up. Every fucking thing I say is fucking fucked up. Yo, I guess that I just fucking suck. Damn right. Fuck. Yo. Yup, I guess I'm just a fuck up. I just wanted some love, but I'm getting none, cause I'm an asshole. I don't really care, I think that I'm cool, cocky like a billionaire. I never really learned to shut my mouth. Every single word I say is what goes south. I've got no filter, so there's plenty of pop. Yo, anything and everything is setting me off. What's up, cunt? I never learned to respect. I do what I want. Yo, I'm the worst of the best. I mean the best of the worst. When I'm spreading some dirt. Yeah, fuck your reputation, you're dead in the dirt. I fucked up again. I lost all my friends. I don't care, I don't really give up. I fucked up again. I lost all my friends. I don't care, I don't really give up. I don't give, I don't give, I don't give, I don't give up. I don't give, I don't give, I don't give. I don't give up. Right, once I started making some friends, I go and get myself banned from Facebook again. Yeah, try and calm me down, but the hate doesn't end. I'm an internet asshole, the latest in trend. I'll berate you for your views and point out your insecurities. I hate all that you do, and all of it is learning me to jump up in your comments or get up in your face and tell you since you're different, you're a fucking disgrace. I'm a grade A dickhead, a high class cunt. Yo, I think I'm gifted and fly as fuck. I don't care if you're my friend, cause friends are for cunts, dude. Before you block my number, just let me say, fuck you. I fucked up again. I lost all my friends. I don't care, I don't really give up. I fucked up again. I lost all my friends. Don't care, I don't really give up. I fucked up again. I lost all my friends. I don't care, I don't fuck?
Teens, madness and sadness, happiness and joy mixed with depression, and those lessons we all learn from having these emotions grab us. Suicidal, homicidal fits of psycho rip inside my vitals. Awful G's. How do I manage this? Emotions that keep roller coasting in my ghost that makes me feel I am indeed a mixture of all of these. Hatred and love and peace and war, hardcore and then mixed quick with a little harmony. Let me go, let the flow go live like I'm a moment to the very in the center of your spot. I'ma spit it again because I've embedded it deep inside of you like a chip in a robot. Shiny 5 is alive and I'm making it known from every emotion I stretch like Botox. It's son of a gun, hip in the bed seats. I can't believe everybody's rolling a soul off. Sorry doc, I really like it the way that I was made, so the crazy train stops when I roll off. And I gotta exhibit everything that's stuck inside of my prison. When I get a vision, I'ma go off. Got me feeling like my mentality better me. Gotta be the side effect of my motherfucking anatomy. Of a heat in the brain, be running ahead of me, recording whatever the data be gathering. Sane, I think not 1 million thoughts and they fire at once while I'm caught in the middle of a rock and a hard place. Take them to the Mars space case on slot. I can't think from the feels I'll be feeling coming up out of me. Rockets like a buckshot, and I like if I did not tell you I'm distraught. Deal with all these things inside. I don't know how I'm still alive. I am on things, madness and sadness, happiness and joy mixed with depression, and those lessons we all learn from having these emotions grab us. Suicidal, homicidal fits of psycho rip inside my vitals. Awful G's. How do I manage this? Emotions that keep roller coasting in my ghost that make me feel I am indeed a mixture of all of these. Hatred and love and peace and war, hardcore and then mixed with a little harmony.
I'm a ball of confusion, trying to make sense of a life living in the dark, trying to figure out money, trying to figure out art, trying to figure out what in the hell am I doing here, and I fear that it's all an illusion. Have I traveled too far in the wrong direction, telling me to stay calm on its own and pressing while I detonate bombs and prolong the messes, and I gotta make all of the music, all that I ever fought for, doing it for all your amusement. Everything I've suffered in every moment of trouble, the difficult in the bubble, it was all but abusive. I kept it all moving and thought I had it in check, but the fellow behind me, I felt it breathing on my neck. I could feel death coming, but I wasn't ready yet. I remember what he said if I wasn't already dead. Ever since then, I've been a lightning rod. I feel it all so hard that I fight with God. It overwhelms every night until I can't even sleep. I panic and creep out. I feel the banister creak. It's like a mental insane asylum inside my skull of overwhelming emotions, and it divides my soul. And I'm doing what I can to survive. I grow. Is it ever gonna end though? I don't know.
Deal with all these things inside. I don't know how I'm still alive. I am on things, madness and sadness, happiness and joy mixed with depression, and those lessons we all learn from having these emotions grab us. Suicidal, homicidal fits of psycho rip inside my vitals. Awful G's. How do I manage this? Emotions that keep roller coasting in my ghost that make me feel I am indeed a mixture of all of these. Hatred and love and peace and war, hardcore and then mixed quick with a little harmony.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Uncovering the Underground Radio Podcast Show. I am your host, Skippy Ickham of Brutal Business Entertainment. If you are listening to us right now, whether live or streaming it after the fact, do us the favor of hitting the like button and sharing it around. Invite your friends. The more people we can get to check out the show and interact with the show, the bigger and better things we can do. And as of last couple episodes we've done, there's some new announcements there of where you can listen to us. It used to just be through Spreaker Podcast Radio Show and application on your phone, which is who we host our show through, so shout out to them. But now you can also catch us on all the other major online retailers and podcast platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and CastBox. So make sure you check us out on all those platforms. Whatever your favorite app or device is, you can go ahead and use that to listen to Uncovering the Underground Show. And we do want to, jump in real quick and thank our sponsors of the show. First and foremost, I would like to thank Tattooed Scumbag Apparel. They make everything from socks to sweatpants, hoodies, t-shirts, beanies, hats, and everything in between. They sponsor me, they sponsor the radio show, and we're big advocates for their company as well. Local Pittsburgh business owner and tattoo artist Joe Ball started the apparel line, and he's been a big supporter of mine all along. So we'd like to give them some love. If you do check them out online, it's tattooedscumbag.com. Again, that's tattooedscumbag.com. Put in promo code BBE10 for 10% off of your entire order, and show them some love. We also want to show some love to Brutal by Design apparel. If you go to Facebook, you can look up Brutal by Design and check out their clothing line as well. We would like to thank Legion Artwork, R3 Graphics. We would like to thank Roush Designs, which is Miss Red, who we'll be interviewing and talking about in just a moment. And that's our sponsors for this evening, so make sure you check out those companies as well. And as I said, we have a lot of great things coming up. If you haven't checked out the Brutal Business Entertainment Anthems from the Asylum mixtape that dropped on June 30th, you can check that out. That is 12 exclusive tracks from artists on Brutal Business that you won't find on any other album or project. You can check that out on all online major retailers. Make sure you pick yourself up a copy of that. We would really appreciate it. And keep up to date with that and all other Brutal Business Entertainment news by checking out www.teambrutalbusiness.com. Again, that's www.teambrutalbusiness.com. So we're going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about the guest that we have on the show tonight, give you a little bit of a background behind her, and then we'll bring her on the line and go ahead and interview her, find out who she is behind the scene, what makes her tick, what brought her to this point, and also what she has planned for the future. Now, tonight's show we have Miss Red. It's a Brutal Business Underground model that is on my label and my team, someone I've known for quite a few years and is not only a fellow artist but also a very good friend. Happy to have her on the show tonight. To tell you about her background, Miss Red is just a small-town girl that has always had a dream of being a model in the alternative scene. Along with that, she is a creative soul and has always been an artist creating with her hands. Her skills range from illustration, sculpting, airbrushing, graphic design, photography, fashion, and so much more. She's also always had the mind that when she's looking at a project, she can create a breakdown to see how to create anything she wants to. Art is woven into her soul and makes her crave to create something every day. She is a very passionate animal lover and always said if she wasn't going to be an artist, she would have went to school to be a veterinarian. Even though she has a very tough and rough exterior look, she is a very soft-hearted, caring person. She probably cares way too much about people and everything, really. And it does become her downfall because she literally has her heart on her sleeve at all times. On the model side, she's pretty open to any type of style, but always tends to lean more towards the gothic aesthetic. She's very drawn to the vampiric theme and overall idea, and plays that often through her photos. Red has always loved vampires since she was a little kid and has been obsessed with Interview with a Vampire and Bram Stoker's Dracula. Being a natural redhead, she always felt like a fantasy-like being, and channels that when she's doing her shooting. Her model name, Miss Red, comes from being called Red at almost any job that she has ever worked at. It always came to be an instant nickname for her, so it just kind of stuck. Plus, she just loves being a redhead. Future plans with modeling is to develop her own merch line and stickers, t-shirts, bags, and more with her artwork and photos that she has created. She also has in the works a burlesque act to be able to add a little more to the shows and entertainment that Brutal Business Entertainment offers. With photography and art, she still wants to keep getting better and advancing herself. She's a workaholic, so anything that she does, she takes serious and never stops working at it. Red feels that even if you are a seasoned worker in any field, there is always room to learn more and get better. And that's what we look for in the artists that we bring on the show, is someone who strives to not only be good at what they initially set out to do, but to branch into other fields and be good at those as well, to take passion in their work, to work hard at what they do, and to have that drive behind them. And this guest tonight is certainly one of those people. So we are very excited to have on the show tonight my good friend and fellow artist, Miss Red. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing fantastic. How are you doing?
Well, not too bad. It's been a little bit of a crazy day, but we're through that now. I'm relaxing for the night, getting to do the internet show and do the interview with you. Get fans to find out who you are as a person and just get to chill for a little bit. It's always a nice thing. So how about you? How was your day?
My day started out kind of hectic as well. I had woken up late for work, actually, so I had to really hustle to get there. But once I got to work, it kind of leveled out and smoothed out. And as the day got on, it got more calm and more relaxing. And now into the evening, like you said, just now enjoying the radio show.
Good. I'm glad we could have you on the show tonight. Glad things kind of simmered down. They did for me as well. It started out a little rough, but hey, we're towards the end of the evening now, which is good. We'll go ahead and kind of jump into, who you are, how you became to be who you are, and a little bit about that now. I would like to start out and ask, something I'm curious of is is what started you in the artistic world? Was it the photography? Was it the modeling? Was it the graphic design? And from there, how did it spiral into the other chunks of your art? What led into that? What started it? And kind of ultimately what built you into the artistic person you are today?
Yeah, so I started out at a very young age. I can remember early as back as kindergarten, when they would have the coloring contest. I was always the one that would win the coloring contest and be very excited. And just throughout elementary school, my artistic skills just kind of grew from there. I was always drawing something or illustrating. My favorite thing I used to draw when I was younger actually was horses. My great grandmother, Marcia, she was an oil painter, and I got given a whole bunch of her art books when I was little, and one of them was horses books. And that's where I really started to establish my skill was there, because horses are actually very hard to draw because the muscle structure that they have and just their entire form, like it really teaches you like shading very well. And then from there, when I was in high school, I actually got to go to a vocational technical school for commercial arts. And that got me more into the graphic design realm, where I was doing, vector-based graphics. I was doing more painting, illustrating. And then I actually got to dabble in a little bit of photography there because we did the yearbook there for the VOTech. After high school, I enrolled in the Art Institute for graphic design for 4-year bachelor's program. And while there at the Art Institute, one of the things you have to learn as a graphic designer is photography, because in graphic design work, you actually use a lot of photographs and, magazines, flyers, and even references when you're dealing with illustrations, like you need photographs. So we had to learn photography skill. So my husband actually bought me my first camera as a surprise because I was just renting the one at school, and the one at school wasn't that great. So I got my first camera as a surprise, and just messing around with it at home, I found like a deep passion for it. And I decided to, branch off my graphic design work and illustration more into the photography, because it gave me a different realm of how I can create, I can use models, kids, animals, anything I wanted to really create, even farther off of just paper with, pen and pencil or markers and stuff. And then,
No, absolutely.
And then after that, the modeling kind of always was a back burner thing. I mean, I've always followed alternative models for a good bit of my life, always been inspired by their creative exterior, because I'm an artist person, so I like to show art, and I think alternative models really display their art well by them being the artwork, if that makes sense. So I've always kind of wanted to dabble in that, and I've always been told, I was a very good looking girl, especially being a redhead. I was, that exotic look. So one day I had a friend that was a photographer. Her name's Cecilia. She started doing photography, and she asked me to model for her. So, I got some lingerie sets and went over to her house like first thing in the morning because she wanted to get the sunrise in the background. And we did like a real quick photo shoot, and I loved it. I felt so confident. I felt sexy, and I have never felt that in my life. And it gave me that empowerment, you know what I mean, during the shoot. So it kind of just, was fueled to that fire that, wow, I have to do this also. Like, it's another way to express myself. So I had the graphic design, the photography, and now the modeling side to be able to express who I am, because get myself out of my depression, and get myself out of hard times in my life. It was my escape. So yeah. And now I'm where I am today with, several different facets of what I do.
Now, if you had to pick one, I know it's always hard to do this, or hard to, choose one amongst the many, but if you had to choose one of the many things that you do as your favorite, what do you like the most?
That's a very hard question. I would say any more really, photography, because I can get really creative with it. I mean, I have spent hours. I will lose hours just sitting there editing stuff and just messing around, because I do a lot of composite photography. And if you don't know what that is, for people who are listening, composite photography is you take like a whole bunch of different elements and say like a model stock image, and then you combine them all into like this really elaborate design or graphic piece and stuff. You can actually see some composites I've done on my pages. But anyways, so you can get like very creative. That photography kind of touches in all the realms that I do. So if I were just to stick to the photography, I would still be dabbling in the model side and also, you know, the graphic design, because they're all really related. And I think that's why I enjoy them all, because they're very related.
Well, it kind of makes sense to have that central thing that branches into the other. So I do music, and from the music, I branched off and did the radio and did some of the other things, you know, the photography and things as well. You have that central hub, and for you, I think that is photography, because you're very good at photography. It allows you to work with models, whether yourself or someone else that you're working with. Also ties in the artistic element, as you said, so it gives you kind of all the pieces in one, but then you can also separately focus on each of the individual pieces so that you're not missing out on any of that yourself, which is important.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think anybody with any type of artistic background, whether it be music, you know, modeling, photography, fashion, anything like that, like you have to have that outlet. I mean, I know seriously crave to create something. If I go, you know, even a couple of days with not designing anything or, you know, photographing anything, like I start to go stir crazy. Like it's almost like it's like an addiction. You know, you have to be able to create and express yourself and just let it out pretty much.
You do. I mean, it's certainly for anybody who has an active artistic mind that's constantly going, constantly wanting to create, constantly having something, you know, going through your mind. You have to get it out there. You have to put it onto pen. You have to put it into sculpting. Whatever you might do is your art. You have to put it out there, because if you don't, it starts to eat you. And there's only so much of that as an artist you can take. So there is a defining line, I think. I mean, there's people who do this as a hobby, and it's not really something that eats at them. They just like to create music. They like to create photography, art, modeling. They get into it for fun. It isn't that passion necessarily. It isn't that undying hunger that a lot of us feel. And for those that feel it, it's a gift and a curse, because you want to constantly create more. You want to constantly push yourself. But then you're also never satisfied with where you're at. And you always want to keep creating more and more and bigger and better, because it's a rush and it's also a hunger. And once you eat the same thing over and over again, you want to eat something else. So as you build, you want that next bigger bite. And that, I think that most of us very serious artists can feel that way, or do feel that way.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I forget who told me this, but I was told back when I was starting out in photography, because when I first started, I overbooked myself actually. Like I had a ton of weddings the one year. On top of weddings, I had photo or family photos and newborns and stuff like that. I was booked to the max, and I was also working a night shift job, and I was just pulling my hair out crazy. But this person told me that once something becomes too job-like, meaning my photography, graphic design, then that's when you start to lose the enjoyment. So you got to find that balance that, yes, still treat it like a job, but you can't get so stressed out and overdo it to the point that it becomes too much like a job, and then you start to not enjoy it no more. So, I mean, finding that perfect balance, especially when you do several different things, as you know, is very difficult.
It really is, and you have to learn that separation. Now, no matter what, no matter how you learn and how versed and disciplined you are, which we'll talk about in just a second, even when you are disciplined and you kind of discover yourself and learn how to get past that stress, that initial stress, you're still going to have your moments, you're still going to have your days, but you have to find an even balance. That I used to get angry all the time, super stressed out, just eating away at me, even though I handled everything very, very professionally and very time efficient. It still built up on me and built up on me. I finally, woke one day, and it had to do a lot with meditation. It had to do a lot with, becoming at peace with the world and myself. But once you find that peace, you can kind of step aside from that. And I think all artists need that. You need to learn how to tap into that, because it is a stressful passion. It's a stressful thing that there's constantly things that go wrong. That you're not meeting deadlines you want to meet, things are just getting thrown off, and it just stresses you out. But instead of getting stressed and letting it hinder your work, you have to find a way to take a step back, take a breath, let it out, clear your mind, and then pick back up and keep going. You have to learn how to go around those roadblocks, and ultimately sometimes if you learn how to do that correctly, you can use them as fuel to help influence your work that you're doing. But too often in art, people hit those roadblocks and it cramps their creative style, and then they stop writing, they stop creating. And sometimes they pick back up from that, sometimes they don't. You have to find that way to deal with that stress, relieve that stress, not only in itself, but also being able to put that into your art. And I think that's a big thing. Not everybody can learn to do that. Once you learn how to do that, though, you're unstoppable.
Right. Yeah, no, totally. It's kind of like a writer's block. Once you overdo it, you get to the point that, shit, like I can come up with any ideas. I have this project and that project I have to do, but nothing's coming to mind. And it's essentially a writer's block or an artist block. And you do have to find that way to escape. One of the things I started doing is kind of like meditation. It's tied in with it. I started doing yoga. Not only have I felt better physically, but even mentally, like being able to have that clarity of mind really helps, with focusing when you come back into a project. Just being able to step away, go do some really deep, intense stretches and breathe deep and everything and meditate. It really does help, the creativity bounce back even stronger the next time, I open up Photoshop for, the project that I was working on. So yeah, I'm starting to find that balance, but as a workaholic, I've always been told, I was raised by my dad that if there's work to do, you work no matter what. I don't care if you're tired, you're sick, you go to work. If there's work, there's money to be made, you work. So trying to find, that balance between what I've been taught, learning new ways of my own life, you know what I mean? How I'm establishing myself. I'm getting there, but, slowly but surely.
It takes a little while, and you know what? It's something that everyone has to take their own journey to achieve and get to if they want to push for it. And some people laugh at that and say meditation or things like that. No, find you. Whatever works for you as a person that helps you reach that, that's great. Meditation happens to be mine. Sounds like it could possibly be yours with one form or another with, yoga, obviously. You have to find that outlet. And let me tell you, for the people out there that do laugh at yoga or even meditation, anything like that, try it first before you knock it, because think of it as an engine. Your engine is your brain and your mind. It constantly is going and running nonstop. Even when you sleep, yes, it fires down a little bit, but it's still constantly going. It's whenever you can learn to take that 10, 15, 20-minute break, shut your mind off and let the motor cool down, and then fire it back up. The refreshing feeling that you get, the cleansing that you get is unexplainable. So for people who have never taken the time to cool and turn off your engine for a little while, you should probably try, because creative-wise, that is what helped renew me. I hit a roadblock. I hit a writer's block that I could not get past. I had put out several albums. I've done very well. I was killing it. I had a lot of buzz on my name and people watching me, and I'm like, okay, great. And then it all caught up to me, and I hit a roadblock and couldn't write, and I didn't know what to do. I tried everything. Every article I could read to get past it wouldn't work, the suggestions. And then really what I did is just came to peace with myself, found myself, meditated, and then all of a sudden I renewed myself, and boom, there I was again. I'm back to writing the best shit that I've ever written, and it's constantly flowing. I don't feel stressed about anything, even with the label, even with all the different outlets and things within the label that I oversee. It doesn't stress me. Yes, it has its moments, but I allowed myself to be able to deal with it a different way, and that's what I want to see everybody achieve that's truly serious about their craft, is if you can find that peace, there's nothing that can stop you. And it's a big thing, obviously, because if you set up roadblocks for yourself, you're not going to get very far.
Yeah, no, you're right. I was skeptical at first, about the yoga, but I actually went to some yoga classes before I started, because obviously, I had no clue what I was doing. So I went to a couple of classes, and after my classes, I'd come home and I would be energized, and my clarity, I was literally bouncing off the walls. I wanted to take on everything in the world. I wanted to do all kinds of different things. Obviously that's probably not the best approach, but that's the type of person I am that, holy crap, I have a bunch of energy now. Let's get everything done. Unfortunately, like I said, that's not the best approach back in, but definitely I was skeptical at first, but it is worth trying. Even if it's not yoga or meditation, just escaping into the wilderness is another thing that I like to do. We have a camp actually that's in the middle of the woods. That we were just up there not too many weekends ago. And man, it was amazing. Just that fresh mountain air, just being away from, technology and the stress of, everyday routine life. That escape is just so powerful, and it's definitely worthwhile. So I hope people, taking that into consideration and stop living life so stressful and focus on your mental health, your physical health, because it's important.
It's everything, and as you said, hiking, camping, just walks. That's another thing. All of those above, I love to do. Fishing, any of the things where I can get away for a little while, especially going into the woods. I've always been a big woods kid. I love going in there and hiking trails. And whether I'm with my wife or whether I'm by myself and I'm just hiking, I just love to be in the middle of nowhere, no one around me, because I never really cared for people anyway. So sorry, fans out there, if you love me, I love you back. But I've just never been a big people person. So it's nice to get away from everybody, go out into the woods. It's just me in the wilderness, the sounds around me, the feelings around me. And you become in tune with nature, because, as I said, it's a cleansing, it's a rebirth, and it gives you new ideas and it allows you to come back energized. No question for you, from everything that we've talked about so far, when you originally started doing graphic design and your technical school, was that the plan, that that's what you wanted to do with your life? Did you plan on, I want to be a graphic artist and do this? Obviously it led into photography and modeling, but is that what your goal was for yourself career-wise?
I think at that point I was still balancing the idea of, veterinary work or even a veterinary technician and graphic design, because I wanted to make sure whatever job field I went into, that I was going to be happy. I was growing up around adults that they chose jobs that made money and they were miserable, and, they worked terrible shifts and stuff like that, like swing shifts or midnight. And I didn't want to be like that. I wanted to enjoy what I was doing. So definitely it was either, I was going to be working with animals in some way or graphic design. And once I went to Votech, because we were actually designing for real clients when I was at Votech, it really opened up my mind that, yes, this is what I want to do. I really enjoy it. I felt energized every day I went to that class. I would actually skip going to high school to check in and just drive right to Votech until I got in trouble for it, because I was more worried, because this is what I was going to do with my life was, graphic design, Votech, not American history, unfortunately. I mean, that stuff's still important, but I was so heart focused on doing what I wanted, what I loved. That's what I wanted to do, is what I loved. And that was graphic design ultimately. So
now, how do you feel about how everything turned out? Did you ever picture not only doing the graphic work, for a career as you do, and also as a passion after work, mixed with your modeling, your photography all in one, and be pushing it on a grand scale to having people around the world seeing it, gaining fans, gaining momentum, and growing your business as a personality, as an artist, as Miss Red? What's your feelings about where you are right now, and where do you see it going, and where do you want to see it go?
I mean, I've been with Brutal Business, 2 years now? I think it's been something like that. And from the time I've been with Brutal Business and have grown, not only as a model, but photographer and graphic designer, I'm excited. I'm very thankful and humble for, this opportunity that, I was given to be able to do this. Because if I wasn't, I'm not sure where I would be, honestly. I mean, I'd probably be some graphic designer, a small time firm, just routine every day. But this definitely is amazing to me where I am at. I never thought I would get to this scale, and I don't even consider myself big scale, because I'm not, honestly, because I'm very humble. I don't think, that very big, but I'm getting there. I know it's always going to be a work in progress, and I'm going to continue to work at it, for the rest of my life. I'm going to be, 80 years old, hopefully, still cranking out designs, you know what I mean, or doing photo shoots and stuff. Not of me, obviously, but of other models. But yeah, I never thought it would get to the point where it's at now, honestly. But I'm very excited with how it's gone so far. And for future wise, I'm not sure where it's going to go. I know I'm going to be putting in a lot of hard work and releasing a lot more content and material on all facets that I'm doing. So, I mean, the only way it can go is up from here, as long as I continue at it, and which I plan on to.
Well, I think you have a bright future ahead of you. You've done very well, in the past with other things you were doing. I'm glad we were able to connect and, get you on the team, get you, being able to express and show off your work in many different fields. You've done very well in all that you've been involved with. I think there's a lot of great things to come. I think a lot more of your graphic work will start to get out there, with your graphic art, for people to be able to hire you, have you do commissioned work for them as artists or for other people in the scene, and just for people in general, fans of graphic art, to be able to see that. So I'm very excited for that. I think there's a lot of fun things to come, and I look forward to all that we can do together, certainly.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know when you added Painless in Denial all them years ago, when I seen that, and we had obviously, like you said, been friends for years. When I seen you added her, it brought back that passion as the alternative model. So when I messaged you about, the opportunity, and then it just growing from the modeling to you bringing me in as a graphic designer and then a photographer, it's been an amazing experience, and I'm very humbled by it, and I appreciate it very much.
Oh, not a problem. I'm glad to have you on the team, and I look forward, like I said, to everything to come. Now, with that being said, that's kind of a good segment into some of the things that are to come. Why don't you tell the fans out there a little bit about the calendar? They haven't heard much about it yet, but they've heard small little tidbits. This would be a great time to announce what our plan is and what will be coming out. And obviously, we don't have it finished yet, but you can tell them about the project and maybe what they can look for from it coming up here in the near future.
So yeah, me and the girls, Crazy Kitty and Bella Run, we got
lost
together.
We lost you for one quick minute.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so me, Painless in Denial, Crazy Kitty, and Bella Run, we all got together, bought some really sexy lingerie outfits, hair done, makeup done, and we shot a calendar. So it's a 2020 calendar that's going to be released. We're looking at the end of August, maybe September, to have pre-sales. So the pre-sales help, with the printing process and stuff. But so it is a lingerie-based calendar or whatever. There's like no nudity or anything like that. But very sexy lingerie. We all did our own themes for each month, so every month's going to be a little bit different. And we are adding in a twist that actually after every 2 months is going to be like a centerfold, kind of like you would get like in Maximum, magazines, where you open up the center and there would be like a poster of one of the models. Where you're doing that every 2 months is going to be one of each of us, and then one of them is going to be a group shot of us. So not only will you get a calendar, but you'll get a poster size of each of the models and then a group shot of the models.
Perfect. Well, we'll keep you certainly posted with more info on that, folks, but we are very excited to bring you that lingerie calendar of the Babes of Brutal Business. We will be dropping, like I said, info of that later this year for you guys to be able to do pre-sales on that. I do encourage all fans out there following Brutal Business to pick themselves up a copy. One, it would help support the girls, it would help support the label, and it's awesome. Obviously, it's going to be an awesome, calendar to have. So please make sure you keep your eyes and ears open for that. A couple quick announcements that I did forget to mention earlier, but I did want to announce. We do have 2 new members to the group and to the label, and I wanted to give a shout out to them because we didn't get to talk about them last episode. But we recently did sign a very awesome grungy doom stoner metal band by the name of Salt the Snail from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I suggest you guys check them out. Their new album dropped October of last year, so not so new as of right now, but it's their new album, obviously. It's called Cultivating Mass, and you can check that out on Bandcamp by just searching Salt the Snail. Awesome sound. When I came across these guys and listened to them for the first time, it instantly hit me. It was something different, a sound that I liked. It gave me that old school down, Kingdom of Sorrow type feel to it, mixed with a little bit of other, So when I came across it, I loved their sound, and we just started talking, and it was a great fit. So shout out to them. Make sure you check out their album and check them out. Give them a like. And we recently added a beautiful young woman to the modeling side by the name of Layla Page, and we just announced her last week. You can go to the Brutal Business Entertainment Facebook page, check out some photos that she's recently released. Make sure you give her page a like, and be keeping your eyes peeled for a lot of great photo shoots for her to come. So we did want to get that out of the way real quick. I didn't want to forget about those 2 great additions to the team.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Definitely.
Now, I ask everyone on the show, and you mentioned you're an animal lover, so this is a good way to certainly ask you at this time. Is we always ask if the animals were to take over the world and they were to be almost super intelligent or hyper intelligent, where they were smart enough to actually band together and take over the world or take over the planet. Who do you think would be the ultimate ruler of them all species of animals?
Honestly, I think frogs.
And see, that's why, as I've said multiple times, and I don't mean to sound like a broken record to the fans, but that's why I said I love this question, because no one ever gives the same answer. I've yet to have it happen. Everyone's picked something different. It's always been interesting, and now is the reason we get to find out why. Why do you think frogs would ultimately be the winner?
Well, I mean, there is a variety of different toxic frogs. I mean, most people know the poison dart frogs that I would believe it was the Mayans used on their weapons to poison their enemies and stuff like that. I believe, don't quote me, I don't know if it's exact. But I know one of an Indian tribe used to use their poison, like I said, on their weapons and stuff. And people more or less consider them friendly. Like, I've never heard somebody, well, I'm sure there probably is. I mean, there's people afraid of everything, but I've never met anybody that was like, oh my God, like, I'm terrified of frogs. You know what I mean? People are always like, oh, look at this cool ass frog over here. Let me pick it up. You know what I mean? So I think they'd be kind of deceiving at the same time, and that's how they kind of would take over.
I mean, that's a good thought. It's a little bit different because they're not really something that you think about. You kind of forget about the frogs. I think for ones that are like poisonous, that if they were to be eaten, the person that eats them or the animal that eats them dies. As long as they mate very quickly and they spawn very quickly, so as long as they can keep ahead of the other species and keep mating quickly and birthing quickly, then they really could take over, because anytime they're eaten, the enemy dies. And they could slowly kind of take over. If they band together, you got poison dart frogs, you got all the other type of poison frogs. So that's a very good response. I like it.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, while we're on the subject of animals, I like to keep it silly for a little bit each episode. What do you think your animals would say about you? How would they describe you as their master, as their owner? What would be their thoughts on you if you could jump inside their head for a little bit and see you and how they see you?
Okay, so currently I have 2 really big fat cats. I know you're not supposed to have overweight animals, but I adopted them this way, so it's not my choice. But anyways, and they're brothers, and they both have totally different personalities. So both of them would have a different view of me, I think. The one, Neo, he is a love cat, and that's what I call him. He's my love cat. He probably would say that, well, he likes to sleep on my hair, so he probably would say that I have the most comfortable hair ever because he sleeps on my head, and that I'm just a really lovable person, and thanks for feeding me all the time. The other one, Morpheus, he has a little bit of an attitude. Like, he doesn't bite or anything like that, but he definitely will let you know when you love him too much, and he probably would be saying, like, this bitch needs to quit loving me, I'm trying to sleep. Because I do really overlove my cats. Like, I pick them up constantly, and I take them to the mirror, I love you, and it's ridiculous, like, how much I love my cats. So definitely Morpheus would say, this bitch loves me too much, she needs to let me sleep and chill the hell out. But Morpheus, or Neo, would definitely, compliment me in that realm. He's more chill too. Morpheus is definitely the scaredy cat. If he hears like a little noise, like the refrigerator turning on, like, he runs downstairs. Neo could give a shit less about anything. So
now I'm assuming that either you are a big Matrix fan or whoever you got the cats from was.
yeah, we actually adopted them from the Humane Society, and that was already their names. So yeah, I'm guessing whoever had them before, or I don't know if the Humane Society like renames them. I'm not sure how they go about that, or if they keep the original names. But that was their names from the Humane Society, and I mean, Matrix isn't a bad series. I mean, as it went on, it kind of got ridiculous, you know what I mean, and overdone. But I mean, the first few movies were pretty cool, so we kept their names because they're not bad, and they actually know their names too. Like, if I were to call one of them, they would know which one I was talking to. Like, if I called Neo, he would put his head up, and Morpheus, wouldn't. And
Well,
vice
they
versa.
definitely learn their names. That's for sure. I have 2 cats myself, so they definitely, when you call them, they know. That's funny that they were already named that. So somebody out there, was a big fan of The Matrix, which was, a good, set of movies. I kind of lost track along the way, but the concept of The Matrix is something that is very, very appealing and very deep. Something we're not going to get into on this specific show, maybe on my other show, but certainly a great topic. Now, I wanted to see, you mentioned the calendar coming up. Do you have any shoots aside from that yourself that you have planned coming out? Anything that the fans can be kind of keeping an eye out for to drop anytime soon?
Yeah, actually, I just had a photo shoot. I think it was 2 weeks ago now. I had talked to the photographer yesterday. It was, and I should have them. This is a photographer I worked with before, and I believe you pronounce his name as Zorvin. He did my photos where I was kind of in the cemetery. I had a black skirt on and a white top. And then a couple of the other photos, I was in a long, red dress thing with black panties on and stuff. So it's the same photographer. We shot a bunch of different outfits in different locations and looks and stuff. So it's going to be a good variety of material that's going to be coming out. I have some other photographers I'm in the works with, some photo shoots coming up. They're going to be a little bit more sexier also, a little bit more showy. I mean, obviously I'm not going to be, showing my bits and pieces, but I mean, they're definitely going to be more on the sexier end, which I plan on here going forward with my modeling stuff, doing a little bit more sexier stuff. And then obviously I'll still do casual in between. So definitely the things I have coming up are going to be sexy, but the one I have with Zorvin coming up is definitely a little bit more casual, but still some, sexy dresses and stuff like that in there. So.
Well, perfect. Well, I think everybody, if you're listening out there, you need to be keeping an eye out for that when it drops. Make sure you check it out, share it around, give it some likes, and leave your feedback. Obviously you have quite a little fan base that I see following you. They love your work. Every time you drop it, there's a lot of people tuning in and checking it out. And hopefully there's a lot of people checking out the show tonight. We can look at the numbers after the show. I don't get to see it live, unfortunately. But if you are out there, please feel free to know that you can click the chat side of things. Some shows we get a lot of chats, some shows we don't. And the thing is unless you know that there's an IM instant message chat on the Spreaker app or through the website, you would never know that you could even do that. So if you're listening out there and you would like to involve yourself in the show, if you would like to ask Miss Red a question, give a thought on the show, anything like that, go ahead and go into the app market and go to Spreaker, and it's Spreaker, and there is an instant message app, part of the app there that you can chat with us, or you can do it right through the website as well. So feel free to message us. We would love to hear from you, and I'll be live the entire time answering you back and addressing your questions. Now, kind of a silly question, but you obviously go by the name Miss Red. Now, is there ever the thought of changing hair color to something else besides red, to try a different look and aesthetic there with black hair, or maybe something kind of different as such as a blonde or something of that nature? Or is it more or less you want to, I know with the bio that we read, you were very proud to be a redhead, as you should be, but is there thought of ever changing that look to see what that look would be, or is it more you want to stick to your roots?
Well, in the past, when I really wasn't in modeling, I used to change my hair color. I actually did dye my hair black, years ago. This was 10 years ago. And everybody said, I look really good with dark hair, especially black hair. I have really dark brown eyes. So the black hair, would make my eyes, piercing. They would be so much more bright and vibrant or whatever. Not vibrant, but, more eye piercing, if that makes sense. It was, more intense. So, I have had my hair black. I think it was last year or the year before. I actually did dye my hair blue, and it was the worst mistake ever. I liked the blue, but it totally ruined my hair. I actually had to go have them professionally redo it all, and I'm lucky they were even able to save my hair because it ruined my hair so bad, unfortunately. But thankfully, like I said, they saved it. I was blonde when I was in high school. I used to dye my hair blonde, and being a natural redhead, having red undertones, when I go blonde, even if I did use purple shampoo and did everything perfectly, bought salon grade stuff, I always had that brash tones come out, my red undertones, and it was always more of a orangish yellow than, you know, that platinum blonde, which was what I wanted. So if I were to ever change my hair, which I have thought about doing, I would probably buy wigs. There are so many wig makers that actually make them so it actually looks like your natural hair. I just have to be a little bit careful because my hair is really long. I'd have to make sure, you know, I tucked it and stuff, right? But I have, you know, dabbled in the idea of maybe getting, you know, wigs and going even short hair, like short black hair, you know, I think would be kind of hot. But yeah, I might plan on that idea about changing up my hair, you know, style with wigs for shoots and stuff like that. That would definitely interest people because, I mean, I do look different in different hair colors. I mean, it changes. I mean, I think anybody does. It changes the way they look. It can change the style of the shoot too. So
Absolutely, it gives it a completely different look and a different feel. I mean, you can have the same background and scenery with three different hair colors on the same person, and it look three completely different ways, almost as if it was three individually different people. So it is something that can definitely change the feel and overall tone of a shoot. And it's something to think about. As you said, I mean, you'd hate to have to dye your hair each time you want to do that, so wigs could certainly do that. There's a model that I follow on Instagram that is infamous, has quite a large following, and she changes constantly into different wigs. And honestly, some of the pictures you look at her, you almost say, is that actually her? I don't think that's her. And then you go back and look at some other pictures back and forth, you're like, no, that is her. Because it changes her face and everything in the picture so much that sometimes it doesn't even look like the same person.
yeah, no, I agree. Like I said, I've definitely have looked into it. I mean, I've seen different wigs I would want and stuff or whatever. That's just another thing that comes in with the photo shoot as, you know, I've tried to be cost friendly and not as, you know, how do I want to say this? Like, I don't like buying things that I can't use several times. But wigs, I mean, obviously you can use several times, but I really don't like being a wasteful type of person. So, I mean, if I buy something intentionally for a shoot, I try to make sure that I can incorporate some other way. But wigs are definitely a way I can go about doing that. But I mean, I can even wear, you know, the wigs on a daily basis. I don't have to wear them just for shoots or whatever. That's one thing that's nice about that. I mean, especially in the day and age that we live in now, you know, it's a norm to change up your look like that constantly or whatever. So, especially as an artist. So, yeah.
No, I like it, absolutely. I mean, that was making me think of something while we were talking about that I wanted to make sure I addressed and had you talk about. And then I think after that, what we'll do is we'll jump to a quick song break and then come back from that, continue the interview and discussions. But one of the things I wanted to have you tell is to anyone listening out there that might be, you know, aspiring to be a model and get into the field, get into something where they can be a part of the modeling and photography side. What would be, you know, two things? What would be your advice to them starting out in this field? There's something now that you look back in hindsight that you say, I wish I would have known at that time. What would that be? And then also, what would be your warning to that person that, you know, you were never warned about starting out that you know now? So it's a hindsight question of what would you advise and what would you warn against to anyone starting out right
now? I mean, I would say anybody wanting to start out as a model, definitely find what interests you. I know when some people start out modeling, they kind of like, I want to do this, and then I want to jump to this style and that style. I think really in any type of field, you have to kind of find your niche, like what fits your personality and stuff like that. Now, like, I'm more towards the gothic side, and I have thought about doing like a vibrant and colorful shoots, but I don't think it would fit me. So I would say to anybody starting out, like, find what it is you want out of modeling, like how you want to express yourself, and really get your persona, you know, established before you really dive in. Because when you get your persona of who you want to portray as a model, when you're looking for photographers and stuff, you can find ones that are based on your style. Because say if you want to be, you know, more gothic aesthetic like I am, you don't want to go shoot with a photographer that does bright and airy type of edits. With bright and airy is like, you know, nice bright sunshine, you know, and the nice green colors in the background, you know what I mean? If you want to be gothic, you want to find somebody that has, you know, that style. So establishing your persona and your style that you want to model is definitely key to starting out, because you don't want to be all over the place. Now, one thing that, you know, I was warned about, but I think is worth mentioning is be cautious of creep photographers. And it's not only guys, guys.
Wait, go rewind back like 10 seconds because you cut out a little bit again right there. I heard you say creep photographers and then you cut out.
I'm sorry, I'm not even moving.
That's
Anyways,
okay. It happens sometimes with storms and things. Don't worry about it.
creep photographers, and what I had said was it's not just the male photographers, there are definitely female creep photographers too. I mean, it's not based on sexual orientation or anything like that. I think anybody can be a creep, honestly. So definitely when you're going to work with a photographer, ask for references, ask to see their portfolio, and if they don't have a portfolio, then that's a good way to raise questions. If it is a newly starting photographer and you do want to give them the chance, because I mean, obviously when you're starting out, I mean, not everybody has all the money in the world to spend on photographers and outfits and stuff like that. I totally get that. I mean, I've been at that point too. If you're starting with a new photographer that doesn't have a portfolio and you kind of have a bad vibe about, best thing is to not work with that person or to take somebody with you. Always take somebody with you, even if you do feel comfortable with them. Safety is number one priority when it comes to things like this, because there are so many scary stories out there of girls, unfortunately, being raped or molested and stuff like that, or touched in a way that was very inappropriate, by somebody that's supposed to be a professional. So that's definitely something, like I said, I was warned about, but it's definitely worth mentioning that please scan who you're working with, because, you got to take your safety in consideration. It's important.
No, I agree. That's something that needs to be addressed and said, and that's why I figured you would warn against it. I'm glad that you did, because guys and ladies out there are a lot of strange cats out there that are in the photography side strictly for the fact to get to photograph someone that they're interested in, whether it be a guy wanting to photograph other guys, that's what he's into. If it be a woman wanting to photograph another woman, or vice versa, men wanting to photograph women, women wanting to photograph men. There's a lot of people that do it just for the sole fact of being able to put themselves in front of other good-looking individuals. Because if you're looking for girls that want to model and you're a guy, obviously girls wanting to model are usually going to be somewhat attractive or are attractive. So there's a lot of guys that do that for the wrong reasons, and they get out there and they're just a guy with a camera. They don't edit their photos. They have no knowledge of a camera, how the exposure triangle works, how any of it works. They are just someone who has a camera and wants to say, hey, I'm a photographer, I'm a photographer, I can work with you. And as Lindsay said, as Miss Red said, you can build... You're going to build up from somewhere. You might not have money to jump right in and be the biggest professional, but there has to be a sense of professionalism about you. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are not, and they'll message you, and I want to work with you. Oh, I've done extensive work over the years, blah, blah, blah. And then you say, well, let me see your portfolio. Oh, well, right now my computer crashed. I lost all my work. I had nothing backed up on hard drives. Just so happened I have no pictures on my phone. I have no evidence whatsoever that I'm an actual photographer, but I promise you I am. That's a red flag right there.
Yeah, if that doesn't raise red flags right there, then, signal something in your brain that maybe I shouldn't work with this person, then you definitely shouldn't work with that person. I'm telling you right now, like, as a photographer myself, my stuff is backed up in a bunch of different places, from my computer to my husband's computer to several external hard drives, just because shit does happen and you can have a computer fry and lose stuff. So I make sure I don't lose anything. So if a photographer tells you, oh, I lost all my stuff because I didn't back it up, they're bullshitting you, because professional photographers know to back stuff up, because that's their life's work. If you don't back that up, then, I mean, that's just stupid of you. I'm sorry.
Not even just that, but here's the other point of that. And ladies, I mainly am talking to you, but this goes to anybody modeling, guys as well. The reason I mention this is I work with a lot of female models, and I've seen it time and time again of photographers messaging ladies that are either on my label or that I'm associated with and working with, and they say similar things as of what I just said. They give some type of excuse that they want to work with them. They can't provide any credentials of what they've done or who they necessarily are as a photographer. And okay, your computer could crash, and I understand that because mine recently did as well. But here's the thing. How come there's no Facebook page? How come there's no Instagram? How come there is no other type of site that has your work uploaded to it? Model Mayhem, any of those sites. When you say that my computer crashed, but I also never uploaded any of my work online ever, there's something severely wrong with that, and that right there is a grade A creeper. And you have to watch out for that. Another signal, guys, is whenever you ask, is it okay if I bring my friend or my boyfriend or my girlfriend or whoever, your fucking mother, I don't care. Is it okay if I bring this person with me the first time? And when that photographer says no for any reason, whether it's a flat out no or, you know what, I don't like working when other people are around, I want it to just be you. I don't feel comfortable with someone else there. I prefer not to. I'll be the first to tell you, I prefer not to have anybody else there either, because I do like one-on-one intimacy of the session, you know, that we're doing together. But I would never say no, you can't. That is a strange thing. So if someone says no, you are not allowed to bring someone to your shoot, there is a red flag. And it is very important because, as Miss Red said, you know, it's better to be cautious and go there, or you lose that connection, that person don't want to work with you, and maybe they were great, maybe they were a creeper, you never know. It's better to be cautious and do that than to go alone by yourself and something happen to you that can never be taken back.
Yeah, I agree. There's lots of photographers out there too. So just because one person says, no, you can't bring somebody with you, I don't work like that, then honestly, and excuse my language, but fuck them. There's other photographers you can find that will allow you to bring somebody with you as an escort and stuff like that to make sure you feel comfortable. Because ultimately, as a photographer myself, if you don't feel comfortable at my shoot, then it's going to come across in the photos. So that should be like their top priority, that they produce good work. So if you don't feel comfortable already and they tell you no about bringing somebody with you, it's just going to come off even more. And they probably are just, you know, a creeper. If they don't have nothing, like Garrett said, posted online anywhere, you know, even on Model Mayhem or any social site, then that right there just kind of tells you they take weird photos of you, you know, exposing photos for their own personal collection usually. And I know that's disgusting and creepo as it can be, but I mean, that's the honest truth. I've had photographers message me like that, like, oh, I'm nearby, I seen you were, you know, in my city, I do private collection stuff and I paid top dollar for them. Like, it's an instant block. No, thank you. I can self shoot myself if I want, you know, more intimate photos like that. Like, I don't need somebody else doing that. But I know starting out as a model though, like you are more quickly to want to work with people because you want to get out there. It's exciting. I understand that, but just be cautious about who you do work with, because it's very important, because you don't want one bad experience to ruin a whole potential modeling career for you just because you weren't safe about it. Safety is priority when it comes to this field, unfortunately, because there are sickos out there. So be safe.
There really are. There's quite a bit, actually. So, you know, be wary. You can't trust everyone that comes across as a nice person, because a lot of them are sharks and they're just swimming around in the water waiting to bite. And you don't want to be the food to that, because that's what they're looking for. Is they're looking for something to munch on, and they find someone who's new to the scene, someone who doesn't have a lot of background yet, someone who might be easily tricked because they don't know the ins and outs of the scene yet, and they try to exploit that and take advantage of that. So be very wary. For people starting out, it's another great break off of that, Miss Red. Why don't you tell us how someone can find themselves someone to work with? Because that's one of the other things is you start out and say, I want to model, but I only know like one photographer, and they're like my local town photographer who does graduation photos. I don't know someone who does this. How does someone get into finding other photographers, networking within modeling? What is a great start to someone that might have no idea how to get started? Because I'll be honest with you, starting out in music and starting out in everything I did, no one taught me anything. It was me just figuring it out, and along the way I met good people who did teach me things at that point, but the beginning ropes was all taught to myself, to my group at the time. When I took the managing reins, I just had to figure out, how do I book shows? How do I get our name out there? How do I find a recording studio? If you could give some advice on the modeling side to starting, you know, how does a great way of networking and finding other people to work with, modeling wise and photographer wise?
So finding other photographers, I mean, even sometimes I have a hard time finding, you know, the right photographer for the style shoot that I want to do. But a good way to get started, I mean, obviously social media is like a whole base for networking nowadays. I mean, back way back when I first started modeling, I was actually on Model Mayhem. I wouldn't recommend Model Mayhem anymore because that's kind of where the creepers went to. But a good place to start is actually, there probably is local photographer model groups on your Facebook. So whatever area you're in, you can type in, blah, blah, blah area photographers or models. And most of these groups, I know the ones in our area, which we're located in the Pittsburgh area, the admins of the groups, they actually filter the photographers and make sure they're not creepers. And all the photographers, and I know in our area, work together. They talk together and network amongst themselves. So they all kind of know who the creepers are, or the ones that are, the weirdos and stuff, and the ones, not to work with. So a good place to start is look on, your local photographer Facebook groups. Or if you do know a photographer that says, only does weddings, let's say, or graduations, talk to them, because they probably do know another photographer that might, do the type of shoot that you're wanting to do, whether it be like pinup, boudoir, or anything along those lines, or they might know of somebody that can help you, point you in the right direction. But I would definitely start on looking at your local groups and stuff. Start there. And now as getting in contact with models, look for models in your area too. Even me, even if I might not be in your area, feel free to message me, to ask me about tips and stuff like that. No, I don't know everything in the industry, but, being a photographer myself, I can give as much advice and tips as I can, since I kind of know both sides of the industry. But feel free to reach out to, other models, especially if there are high-end alternative models that you look up to. Message them. Give them a heartfelt message. Like, I followed you. I love your work. I'm trying to, start my own little side in the industry. What kind of tips can you give me? Reach out to who inspires you. That's a great way to start networking, to break down that barrier and just start the talk, pretty much. You got to start that talk somewhere, and these are good places to start.
Absolutely. It's important to know those things, and it's important to discover that information because, as I said, I had to learn on my own, and it took quite a while. I don't regret doing it that way because it did kind of make me into who I am, but at the same time, if you could skip several steps and go right to, I don't want to say the finish line, but go right to where you need to be without having to discover that and do it more efficiently, it's probably a better step for you. It's a time saver, and it saves a lot of stress. So definitely reach out to the people that inspire you. Sometimes they're dicks, so don't expect that everybody that you're going to reach out to is going to be nice and want to help you, but there are great people, out there that do want to help you. And anybody here at Brutal Business Entertainment, will always take the time to answer you, to be nice to you, to, be a part of your journey as well. We try to help other artists. We try to give advice. We try to be there for people in the underground. We are an underground family and community, and that's why we do what we do with the label. That's why we do what we do with the radio show, to help bring on great up-and-coming artists and get them out there and, promote them and get them to the masses. And also to, like tonight's show, we're, giving you some forewarning if you're getting into that scene, because that is a dangerous scene. And I, like I said, am a strong believer in being careful and cautious, because I've firsthand seen many, many strange people out there reaching out to girls that I've been involved with in modeling, or just people that I know. In fact, so recent as of this past week on one of the modeling groups in Pittsburgh, an individual that's notorious for being a super creep had messaged another girl, harassing her, hounding her, and then following that message was probably somewhere in the range of about 25 other women sending picture proof of the same guy harassing and following them. Now, this is a guy who actually does work with a lot of models and puts up a lot of material. So he is getting a lot of people to work with him and to fall for his gimmick that he has going on. But if you're seeing at least 25 to 30 women showing evidence of strange behavior and harassing him, that means there's 4 or 5 times that amount of people who haven't said anything about him. So, you have to be careful, because there are people out there that are in this for no good. Now, we are going to do a quick interlude into something I want to talk to you about in a minute, but we're going to go to a song break before that and then come back and revisit it. Miss Red recently started into her merchandise line with the creation of her newest sticker. The sticker is a piece of art of her portrayed on there as a vampire, the undead. So it's a very sexy zombie-like vampire sticker that we're going to talk about in a moment that starts her merch line, which will be followed by several other pieces she wants to add to that. So we'll certainly be coming back to that in a moment. And we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and this song relates to that. This song is by Jinzo, and this is Dead Body Love. And we'll be right back here on Uncovering the Underground Radio Podcast Show.
I love you, now love me too. I've been watching you for a long time, girly. Hello, chicky chick, it's time. Let me bend you over and put my dick in your behind. Black candles, scented like cinnamon. To get you all in the mood, pretty corpse grip handles. Cause you're a couple more pounds. I'm hellbound, but we can put together now when I die. One day, but for now, eat the booty like pie, even though your lights out. Dig you out, pull your panties to the side. Put my dick in your dead vagina and feel you on the inside. Hentai on the television, so I'm fucking your dead body with tentacles and masturbating. Thrusting and moving my hips, pumping my dick in your dead pussy lips. Yeah, it feels so good. I love you. The feel in my chest. I love you. Tingling in my dick. I love you. Got my hands on your breast. Yeah, your vagina's so cold, but I can warm it up. Yeah, with a lighter or two, and then I put it in and we start to fuck. I'm harder than fuck. I'm harder than fuck. I'm harder than fuck. I'm harder than fuck. I see you, but you don't see me. I love you. Dead body. I play with your hair. 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 Nobody can love you the way that I do. I love you. Dead body. I'm harder than fuck. I'm harder than fuck. I'm harder than fuck. I'm harder than fuck. I see you, but you don't see me. I love you. Dead body. I play with your hair. 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 Nobody can love you the way that I do. I love you. Dead body.
It's a dead body love, and you know I'm a super freak between the sheets, busting skeets, making dead pussies leak. Oh no, the body's starting to turn. I'm ripping up her guts when I serve her with this word. I'm a sitting man, a necro fucking philiac, leaving dead bitches jaws full of this nutsack. Amen. Amen. Please say a prayer for me. I turn into a different entity when I smoke this drink. I blaze. So now we pick a body, dig the bitch up to make sure that she's a hottie. She got that little body that makes me so hard. See, sticking my dick in every hole on her body. I'm in love with this dead broad. I'm not gonna front. The only time I see is when I spark up this blunt. So here we go. Time to light it up. So spark up this blunt so I can kill this fucking cunt.
I'm harder than fuck. I'm harder than fuck. I'm harder than fuck. I'm harder than fuck. I see you, but you don't see me. I love you.
Dead body.
I play with your hair. 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 Nobody can love you the way that I do. I love you.
Dead body.
I'm harder than fuck. I'm harder than fuck. I'm harder than fuck. I'm harder than fuck. I see you, but you don't see me. I love you.
Dead body.
I play with your hair. 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 Nobody can love you the way that I do. I love you.
Dead body love.
And we're back on Uncovering the Underground Radio Podcast Show. I am your host, Skippy Ickham of Brutal Business Entertainment, and that was Jinzo the Schizo, Dead Body Love, featuring Easy 606. Kind of a fitting song as we were getting ready to go into Miss Red, who is our guest of the night. She is an underground Brutal Business Entertainment model, graphic designer, and photographer. We were talking about her launch of her new merch line, and on that very first design is her as a sexy, vampiric creature of some sort, and I'll let her explain that in a moment. So kind of fit with the song. Thought it would be a great way to get interlude into a break. But we are back now. If you like that song, leave us comments. Let us know what you thought of it. Let us know what you thought of the show tonight. Remember, you can instant message us through the Spreaker Podcast app or through the website. and be interactive with the show. So feel free to message us. We'll read your questions to Miss Red or address any issues that you have. And let's go ahead and jump into it. Tell us a little bit about the new design you have out, where they can find that out at, and where what else you have coming up soon as far as designs and merchandise.
Honestly, I've always had prints for sale of photo shoots that I've done, but I understand, like, in the real world today, not everybody wants prints. They want more of a tangible object or whatever that, you know, they can put somewhere, or, you know, so that's why I had these stickers designed. The stickers I have made are actually based off one of the shoots I did. I was a vampire. I had a underbust corset on, and you can see the shape of my breast, but covering my nipples is the black upside down cross tape or whatever, and my hair is, you know, in the sexy red pigtails. But anyways, so like I kind of have like a bloody face, you know, like a vampire, you know, undead type person, and it's in the shape of a coffin, which, you know, is pretty freaking cool. But anyways, I did not design this. I actually reached out to a artist. I absolutely love his work. He's actually from Puerto Rico. He's on Instagram, and I believe it's pronounced Niku is Rotten, and it's at NIKUISROTTEN. He is the one that designed this. He does watercolor, and it's artwork he does very intense. He likes to do like deformation of like human bodies and stuff like that, and he really plays off of female bodies, like doing deformed pictures of the female form, and his work is absolutely fantastic, and I actually love him. He's a very nice guy, and I actually have some plans in the future that I want him to make a couple different stickers for me, so that the artwork, you know, follows a line, the same line, and it could be like a bundle package too in the end. That way, you know, it's consistent. Now, as for other merch that I'm going to have, I plan on doing, you know, more illustration types of work, based on, you know, like witchcraft and that type of scenery, because I'm really into that. And I want to do like, tote bags, you know, friendly tote bags and stuff like that, that you can use, you know, going to the beach or shopping or whatever with my work on it. Outside of tote bags, I have considered the idea of making t-shirts, but I'm not sure. There's a couple high-end alternative models that I follow that do t-shirts, and I'm still on back and forth on an idea. I don't know if everybody would want, you know, my face on their shirts. I don't know. I'm not at that level yet, I feel, but I feel, you know, a nice graphic sticker, you know, kind of fits me. So pretty much, any type of merch I'm going to have from here on out, besides the stickers, is probably going to be more illustrative until if I do become bigger and then people want my face on their shirt, then I will gladly put my face on a shirt for you.
It's a certain type of feeling whenever you have your face on someone's shirt. No, my face specifically, no, is not on any of my shirts, but the representation of Skippy Ickham as a character is. So a very vivid illustration of me, like on Giving Birth to Death, with me standing in the bone lair raising all the spider children. That is a representation of me. So when you look out in the crowd and you see a dozen people wearing a shirt with pretty much you on it, it's a strange feeling. You're like, all right, okay, this is pretty crazy. And it's something you have to kind of adapt to. And like you said, you might not be at that level, maybe you are. But when you hit that, it's a funny feeling. So I think at some point you have to branch out and take that step and say, you know, let's try it and see if people would like it. You don't do a big run of them. Maybe you just do a couple, you know, a dozen, 2 dozen shirts, see if anybody buys them at first, if they nibble on it, and then from there, if they do, kind of spread out from there. But you'd be surprised.
Yeah. I think what is hard for me is I'm very critical of my work. I'm a type of perfectionist, especially when it comes to anything I create. So like model photos of me, like I'm super critical about, like I point out everything, and my thing is I'm always unsure, you know, what picture to take to have illustrated, you know, into a sticker, or, you know, to have on a tote bag and stuff. So I think that's where the insurity comes from. It's not so much that, you know, my picture or whatever, but it's just, I'm not sure which one. So that's why I like, you know, fan inputs that, oh, I really love this picture, and I would so, you know, have this on a bag, my gym bag or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, to have that type of input back would really help me in building my merch line, because I want to be able to create stuff, you know, for my fans, what they love. And I know, like, I always get like a lot of loves on my Facebook photos and stuff like that. And I greatly appreciate it. But like I said, I'm still unsure, which photos stand out from which ones to be able to make into the merch line and, be able to offer items to you guys to support me and, misread.
Merchandise is a tricky beast because you can have what you feel is a genius idea that you think, okay, if I do this, I'm going to sell great on it. And then you do it and you sell nothing. No one's interested. No one cares. And then you can get other items that you're like, I'll get them. I mean, they'll go here and there. Who cares? But we'll have as like filler. And then they just get bought over and over again. Boom, 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 boom. And you just don't understand where the next wave is. People were into certain things at certain times. Maybe shirts are big right now. It sounds weird, but maybe shirts are big right now. Next thing you know, it's not shirts, it's stickers, or it's buttons that people sometimes get made. It's anything you can think of. It's koozies. It switches form, and I notice people asking for certain things, and then I'm like, that was kind of a weird request. And then the next show, and the next show, and the next show, people were asking for that same thing. It's like all of a sudden it just pops up again. It goes in spurts, so you have to have a different array of merchandise, but you also don't want to stock too much merchandise and have too much stuff to get rid of, and you're not getting rid of it. Because that doesn't help anybody. It's a pain in the ass to carry around.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. That just goes back to saying, like when you go to a restaurant and you open the menu and there's like 6 pages on the menu. Like, I love Cheesecake Factory, but my God, that menu, I get so overwhelmed. I'm like, I have no clue what I want. And I can take like 45 minutes to try and find something I want just because the menu is so like intense. And that's kind of like where it comes to a merch line, or anything that you offer as a product that, consumers can be overwhelmed by, the amount of stuff that you offer. And I totally understand that. But I know one thing I did want to get done also in my merch line is, since I play on the vampiric persona a lot, I actually illustrated my red lips and my vampire teeth. I wanted to get made into either wooden or metallic pins. But I'm thinking going the wooden route just because like it's more eco-friendly than metal, obviously.
It is. I support it.
Yes, I'm all about eco-friendly or whatever. I know the stickers really aren't, but that's one thing that's hard too. I've been trying to find product that I can offer that is eco-friendly, and that's why I figured the tote bag would be a good thing because you don't have to worry about plastic bags. You could take a tote bag, with my face on it or my graphic design on it, to Walmart to get your shampoo and stuff. But yeah. So anyways. So I did design a pin of my vampire teeth or whatever that I plan on having made. But speaking on the wooden pin part, that ties into the graphic design, I am looking into getting a laser cutter where I can actually make this stuff myself too. So that's something to look for in the future, that I can actually start making things like that. So yeah.
You just keep coming up with stuff and keep putting it out. I like it. That's the same as me. I'm constantly on the go, never stopping. So it's always good to see you putting in a lot of work. One of the questions I ask every single guest that's on the show is, what is the one thing that you have done that you don't regret doing, but that you would never do again? And it can be in life, and it can be in modeling, graphic art, any of the arts that you're involved with. What is the one thing you say, you know what, I don't regret that I did that, but I would never do that again?
Well, there's a couple of things in my life that I kind of feel that way about, but I understand why I did them. Years ago when I was little, I actually used to play guitar, and I always wanted to be like Kitty, like in the all-girl metal band and whatever, you know what I mean? That was like another thing I wanted to do. So I was really heavily into guitar. I used to take guitar lessons, and I was going through a lot of stuff in my home life. My parents had a very bad falling out, divorce, and all kinds of crazy stuff that I don't want to get into because I'm very emotional. I'll actually start crying. We don't want that. But anyways, and my guitar teacher knew something was up, and he kept asking me, what's the matter? You got to talk to me. Like, I'm not here just as your instructor, but I'm here as a friend. And I broke down and started crying in my guitar lesson or whatever. And I just walked out, and I never went back. And he was the most amazing teacher. And I found out like he passed away like that next year. And it was something I really regretted, but I understand why I did it, because it was a very, very hard point in my life. I was pretty much a 13-year-old being put into a very adult situation that I didn't have no control over, but I had to take control, unfortunately. But anyway, so moving past that. Another thing is modeling. I had actually started like 10 years ago with modeling, and I took a break because I had gained some weight and my body image wasn't where I wanted it to be. So I actually quit doing modeling because I didn't think I was good enough and stuff. And unfortunately, you know, in the modeling industry, you're made to feel that way. You have to be like perfect because that's what you see. You know, you see the perfect models on Instagram and stuff like that. And so anyway, so I had taken a break from modeling, and it wasn't until I talked to you about joining Brutal Business that I started back on it. And I think that break in between helped establish me, you know, as an artist in other fields to really gain a good insight about what I wanted to do as a model. So even though it's unfortunate that I had taken that break because I could have been a lot farther along, it helped establish what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? Because I was still young and I was like, oh, I just want to be hot and take pictures. You know what I mean? I grew up, I got a more business sense about, you know, the whole behind the scenes aspect of not just taking pretty photos or whatever. I established myself. So because of
Sometimes you
that,
got to take a step backwards to take a step forward, though. So, you know, sometimes you have to do that.
yeah, so I mean, both were unfortunate breaks that I shouldn't have done, but I understand why I did them, and I unfortunately think they were the right choice now looking back on it, because like that guitar lesson, if I would have went back again, I probably wouldn't have been able to compose myself or whatever. And unfortunately, my guitar actually ended up getting smashed by a family member or whatever, and I had to work a long while to buy my next guitar. So, I mean, I couldn't even go back to my guitar lessons anyways. So, but yeah, I just missed out on a great opportunity by an amazing guitar player and instructor. So, yeah.
It's a shame, but I mean, you know, it's one of those life lessons. You're always going to have those moments that you wish you could have done something differently, and that's a shame. But at least you still learned from the guy, still made an impact on you, even without you going to him for future lessons. I mean, look, here it is years later, and you're still talking about him. So I think his purpose, you know, had taken.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I still think about day to day, you know, I should, because I saw my guitar, you know, the next one I bought, it's downstairs in my case. I'm like, I should go get it restrung and, you know, start playing again. Because my husband plays guitar too. So, yeah, I mean, I've thought about it, but I'm just so busy with, you know, 10 million other things. So,
It does get a little tricky because, as most of my listeners probably know, or maybe some of them don't, I am a pretty good guitar player as well, and I have been known as a guitar player for quite a long time. But I haven't picked the guitar up in, you know, quite some time. It's been roughly a year or so since the last time I've even played it, and it's a shame. And I know that a lot of people say, "I can't believe that, man. You were always playing that thing," and I was. But you start to get as busy as we are as artists in so many other fields, it doesn't leave a lot of time for everything. And I feel like if I can't give guitar most of my attention or all of my attention, then I can't play it, for me personally. Because I just was always my passion. That was my first love. That's what got me into music, was playing guitar. And it kind of spawned out in all of this, but I don't go back to it as much as I would love to, because I don't feel I have the time to properly give to it, and it just breaks my heart, but I can't. I just don't have the time for it, so I leave it sit there. But I look at it from time to time, and I often think also, I'm like, oh man, if I just restrung that back up and plugged it in, oh yeah. And then, you know, that other voice kicks in. It's like, no, you'd never would do it, Garrett. You'd never get it done. Just let it lie. Some dogs are best left, you know, to sleep. So, but that's a story for a different day. We're going to kind of wrap up here in the next few minutes, but I did want to, before we do go, it's for you to tell the fans where they can check out all of your merchandise, your modeling, your graphic arts, the different sites that you have that they can check you out on, and also who you would like to thank.
all right. So, we'll start with where you can find me at. So on Facebook, there's a lot of misreads, or read. So anyways, so my tag on Facebook is at misread model. So if you go to, you know, www.facebook.com/misread model, you should go right to my page. It's also the same for Instagram, but it's just, you know, instagram.com/misread model. Try to keep it consistent, you know what I mean? So you don't lose where I'm at. And then my email, if you want to email me about, getting in further contact, is at missredmodel@gmail.com. I know Gmail is so unprofessional, but hey, it's useful. And then some of my merch prints I have up in those stickers that we had talked about. I have a Big Cartel website. It's missred.bigcartel.com is where you can find, some of the stuff out. But if you see, or if you go to my cartel website and see that, you don't have the print I want, that's okay. Message me and I will get you the print you want. That's no problem at all. It's just, Big Cartel for the free subscription. It only lets you put out so many items or whatever. And that's all I have right now, unfortunately, is just the free subscription. But don't let that hinder you from getting a print. Just shoot me a message and I will be more than happy, to get you what you want. But also, like we had talked about earlier, any new models that are listening to this, you want to ask me questions, just missred@gmail.com or even message me on Facebook. So who I want to thank is obviously you, Garrett. I really appreciate this opportunity that you have given me by becoming a member and a family member of Brutal Business Entertainment. Met a lot of amazing people, since I have joined, and just seeing the amount of talent on the label is just amazing. It's a humble feeling being a part of this family. It really is. I want to thank all the models for, their undying support. They're pretty much like the sisters I never had because I don't have a sister or anything. I love them and love talking to them every day and stuff, and I appreciate them. Also, I want to thank my mom. She's my biggest cheerleader the whole way through my life, and I really appreciate everything from her. And also I want to thank my husband. He's my second cheerleader, in his little cute skirt. Just kidding. He's my other cheerleader and has, my undying support, and he gives me his undying support and really appreciate it. So, yeah.
No, absolutely. Those are all great people to thank. You're certainly welcome for getting on the label. I'm glad, like I said before, to have you on there and see what we can do in the future as far as pushing your work and getting you out there further. You've done, extraordinary work in all the fields that we've had you work with on us, on projects for us. So, very excited for what's to come. Anybody listening out there, to recap on everything as far as the beginning of the show, before we wrap up for the end of the night, we do want to thank our sponsors, Brutal by Design Apparel, Tattooed Scumbag Apparel. Check them out at tattooedscumbag.com. Promo code BBE 10 for 10% off your order. We do want to shout out to Legion Designs, Roush Designs, R3 Graphics, and we want to give love to all you guys out there listening. Please hit the share button and share us around. If you are in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area, we are doing a Brutal Business show called Double Dealings Creature Feature. That is at the Double Dealings Cafe in Elwood City, Pennsylvania. That does start at 9 o'clock on Saturday. That is the 27th, this weekend. Come on out. There's about 5 or 6 of us at Brutal Business playing at this specific show, including some other great artists in the area. Come out and have a good time. Meet us, hang out with us, and let's just make memories together. I do want to give love to everyone listening tonight, to all the artists on Brutal Business, to Miss Red for being on the show tonight, and we will catch you next time on Uncovering the Underground. Everybody have a great night. Thank you, Miss Red.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye.